DCU Daily time, and even though it's not a big DC day, we still have a lot to talk about. Now, what's the big thing? Obviously, pictures of Spider-Man coming out today. Well, not just pictures, but a video, a trailer. We finally got a trailer for Spider-Man after the weird marketing stunt yesterday with the Instagram. We finally got a real trailer. We got a real trailer, and we are going to talk about it. Is it truly a brand new day, or is it one more day? Yikes. But of course, not just the only MCU thing to talk about. We still have a little bit of Daredevil Born Again, as that is coming out in less than a week. So obviously that will be talked about, a little bit overshadowed by Spider-Man, but that's okay. Then we have a bit of MovieTalk Madness, a little bit of TVTalk Terror, and then of course our quick hits. And then we have quite a bit of DCU Daily to talk about. Not quite as big as, Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, but we're going to be talking about comics. We're going to be talking about the Snyder Cut. We're going to be talking about Supergirl. We're going to talk about the Batman Part 2. And what else did Gunn say? Because there is a lot that Gunn says. Maybe a little bit too much, but we're going to go over what he has talked about. So, with all of that and more, before I filibuster too long, let's get into the show.
It doesn't seem to matter what I do. I'm always the number two.
All right, mister, I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What the needs now?
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Of course, welcome to the news, ladies and gents. We are here. I'm your host, John. Lovely to see you all. Of course, we have quite a bit of people in the chat. Caleb, first one here. Usually not the case. Usually comes in later, but that's okay. He's not a pre-jack. That's good for him. Then we have Tony in the chat. Obviously, people are talking about the obvious thing, so we'll get into that. Monique dunking on us with her amazing meals once again. And then Case 21, one of our new people in the chat. Lovely to see you. And then that's about it. So thank you for commenting in the chat. Obviously, we're going to be getting to my co-host of the day, Dan the Man. How are you doing? Are you excited to talk about, the big thing that we're going to be talking about today, or no?
Oh no, I'm very excited. I saw the trailer. I saw it multiple times. I may owe an apology somewhere to somebody, or maybe I don't. We'll get into it, I'm sure, really soon. But it's gonna be a fun show, and as you can tell, I have a company here who will be chiming in along the way, I'm sure. So, yeah. Of course, Monique has probably got the best meal of the night, but Tony and Monique talking through recipes and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I guess without further ado, John, that's where we start, right? Like, lead the way. Let's get into this.
Yes, let's properly get into this. Of course, Spider-Man Brand New Day, the trailer for the 4th MCU Spider-Man movie, the only time that the character has gotten to a 4th, first time in his history, is going to be happening obviously in July. Good point. And it was an interesting one. Now, Dan, do you think it's safe to say that I'm finally denouncing figure drawings accusations that I am a Marvel hater? Because I was happy yesterday with Marvel, and now I'm happy today because I thought this trailer was great. I thought it was great. So I have my red sweatshirt in honor of Spidey. I don't have and then I mean I have navy blue underneath. I mean it's essentially darker. This is the maroon and navy blue. That's like if Zack Snyder directed a Spider-Man movie, it would be like this dark, shit. So, um,
Yeah.
you know, I think this trailer was great with everything that it included. Is it the best trailer of all time? I mean, no, but I thought, like, in terms of the pantheon of Marvel stuff that we've gotten this year, hell, I would say all superhero stuff, that this was probably the second best trailer we've gotten next to Spider Noir, because all the other trailers have just kind of been not nearly as good.
I mean, we were just talking about Dune Part 3. Look,
No, I meant like comic book movies. I meant
okay,
specifically
okay.
superhero movies. Because if we're bringing in, other stuff, then fucking Dune has dunked on fucking everyone, and it's not even close. But I'm specifically talking about superhero because that seems to be the case here. So
No, I mean, John, let's get into well, I don't know, can you go back to the article for a second? Because well, I guess let me start by saying this. To all the influencers around the world, including one of the F1 drivers, Esteban Ocon, I think it was in French, because he's French, or he drives for Alpine, which is a French F1 team. Including him and many others who released, 2-second clips of the pieces of the Spider-Man brand new day trailer a day ahead of the trailer coming out. I owe them, quite a bit of an apology for, just getting duped into this stupid release strategy by Sony, because I feel bad for them, but nonetheless, I feel great about the trailer. I will give it to you, Sony. I would have felt even better. Look, I love this trailer. I think this is the best comic book trailer of the year so far. It is my second favorite trailer outside of Dune Part 3, and even then, for me, in some ways, this is like really, really close. It's like 1A, 1B for me right now. And I don't know why they decided to do what they did a day ago. Like, they could have just followed a more traditional strategy. I still think that was a dumb social media stunt, and whoever came up with the idea should be fired, or at least put on, a bit of probationary, suspension or whatever the case might be. But for Sony, I think this was the perfect first trailer, the perfect first full look at the movie, with a trailer that is still not giving you a ton about the story. We really kind of skirt the edges of like what this movie is ultimately going to be about. We have some general idea based on where things are headed, right? But for a teaser trailer, I guess, like official trailer, because then I guess they it feels halfway between what you would do with a teaser trailer like that first Superman trailer, where really all you're getting is essentially just elements of the movie. By the way, hello to Decol and hello to Orbom. How are y'all doing? But yeah, like a Superman teaser trailer, for example, or Supergirl. All they're giving you are vibes, and they tell you the characters, they give you the visual feel of the movie. You get to kind of maybe, get some of the surprises spelled out for you. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure they're going to hold back some of the big stuff. But then, like with the first official story trailer, as it's more known, usually what you get is much more of the story of the movie. And I feel like this trailer is a lot more comprehensive than your traditional just teaser trailer. Like it feels like a halfway point between a teaser trailer and
it's
a
Boomerang.
story trailer.
It's the Boomerang is in the picture.
I mean, John, let's yeah, right down there, which also I think we saw some of those images like with the toy leaks, but it's great to see that we're now officially gotta look at what that character is going to look like in the movie. Also Scorpion and stuff. But let's dive into this trailer, John. I mean, those are our initial reactions. I mean, I guess maybe let's give it a rating before we move forward, but we're going to go into all the reveals. We're going to look at the screenshots. We got some theorizing to do, some Easter eggs.
Rating. I'd probably give it like an 8.5. And it's not perfect. Like for me, like Spider Noir is like a 10 out of 10. Dune is like a 9 out of 10. This is like 8.5. It's maybe 8. because it's not a perfect trailer, and we'll get
Captain
into
Boomer.
why later. But
Yeah.
I think I don't think it was perfect, but I did like it a lot because I'll say this in comparison to all the other superhero trailers we've gotten, which are Supergirl, Lanterns, and the 4 Doomsday clues,
Yeah.
stories, whatever the fuck the Russo brothers are calling it this week, the pretentious fucks. Whatever it is, like the only ones that are like genuine, and then Spider Noir, the only ones that are genuinely really great are Spider Noir, this, and the Thor Doomsday trailer was pretty good.
I thought
And
the
those are
X-Men
the
one was
only ones.
fantastic. I really enjoyed
Um,
the X-Men one, but
the
like, but
Steve
that's, I know
Rogers
that's me,
one was
bro.
ass. The Wakandans was ass. The fucking X-Men one was nostalgia baity and ass. So, I mean, Lanterns was terrible. So, it just, like in terms of like all this stuff, the 2 Spider-Man trailers are really the best ones we've gotten. So, you know.
Well, look, here's the thing. Okay, Caleb, to your point, and what you're saying, John, in some ways the bar hasn't been exactly like, very high in recent years for trailers. I feel like the last trailer that really blew me away in terms of the superhero genre was that first Superman trailer. And this came about as close to that as anything has in the years
Right.
since Superman came out. Uh, but like to what Caleb was saying, like, there's definitely still, it feels like you're seeing some incomplete VFX shots because there's a lot of elements where things don't look as photoreal, or like the renders feel
Right.
incomplete.
Very
And
gray, very
the color
bland, but
grade,
they could definitely change
yeah.
that. I mean, look at the first Superman trailer. It was very blue, and then it was not like that in the final movie. So it's like, all right, they could
Thank you,
definitely
Tony.
change it. Maybe fucking finally hire a colorist, Marvel.
Well, no, but
hire a
but it's,
goddamn colorist. Jesus
no,
Christ.
but also, like, think about it this way. Like Superman, everybody was complaining because usually what they'll do is like to get the trailer out the door. Because here's the thing, you got to remember, this trailer coming out today probably means it got approved weeks ago, because they have to then, like, from the moment that deliverable file, the trailer itself is finalized, approved from all the stakeholders across Marvel Studios, Sony especially, because I mean mostly Sony, because Sony's the one marketing this movie, distributing this movie. Even though Marvel Studios made it as part of the agreement, Sony does the legwork of distribution and releasing things, and therefore that's the studio. They are the ones, who also market the film. So from the moment, and I think this gets left, out of most conversations when we, talk about critiques, especially on this technical end. I just walked out at an edit studio to like drive home to do the show, and so I know that with these trailers, especially with something like this, where they have uploaded this along dozens of not just YouTube channels for Sony Pictures and whatnot, with Sony Pictures obviously in the US, Sony Pictures UK, India, like Africa, like it's Australia, New Zealand, like and Brazil, like all these countries, and more, Indonesia, and like all these countries where you have localized versions of the trailer. I mean, even if the footage all looks the same, even if it's all in English, which and sometimes they'll do dubs, but they'll also have subtitles. All these, so the versioning process, by the way, thank you, Kevin, for your prediction, and we will actually save that for later, but hello to you in the chat. But this versioning process takes time. So this trailer, what we're looking at are shots that are probably still incomplete, or are in the process of like being worked on, and the color grade isn't quite locked in. Also, because a lot of the shots in this trailer, even watching the 4K version of it on YouTube, you kind of have that cable TV effect, which is always, what you're looking at is an incomplete render, or something that was delivered in a lower resolution just so that they can put it out in the trailer, and we're gonna get it up-res, and we'll get more actual detail from the higher end render, like once the movie is actually coming out in theaters. So the next trailer after this will have better visuals. Like some shots might repeat, and you can then compare them. Also, remember in the Batman trailer, there was the Riddler interrogation scene, they swapped out the take that they use of Batman talking, and one of the lines that he delivers is different. Like the "What did you do?" There's two different versions of it across two different trailers of the Batman, and then the version that ends up in the movie is still different. So just to kind of give you an idea of even when things are going well and everybody's getting a trailer
Right.
and they expect it. So you have to be a little kind on that front, because there's a lot of elements in this trailer which technically looked, less than what you expect from a movie of this size and scale, but a lot of that comes from the fact.
Well, yeah, we're gonna get a second trailer eventually, just
absolutely
not right
cool.
now. Maybe in like May, maybe June, and then we're
Probably like a
gonna get
month out. Yeah.
probably gonna get a final trailer like 2-3
Yeah.
weeks beforehand, which is like early mid-July, since this is gonna be the last weekend of July.
Yeah.
But let's get into the rest of this, because there was a lot. There
there's
was
a lot.
a lot.
Yeah,
So
we're gonna hit all the points. We'll try to hit all the points. You guys let us know what you want us to talk about in the comments, and of course, if you're watching live, then let us know in the live chat. I'm sure this is gonna be a talking point for
So
weeks.
these
To
are
come.
based on like the clips and everything.
Mhm.
So this is all the things that
Can I just make a general observation as you kind of go to the screenshots? By the way, I think that's probably a better place to
That's
start.
probably better, yeah. So I
But
didn't realize
while you
that
do
this
that,
was the trailer clips one. Okay.
it's okay. But while you do that, what I wanted to just kind of quickly mention, can I just say that Tom Holland is actually for once looking like he's not a tween in this trailer? Like,
Yeah.
he starts. Zendaya
He
still
went
looks
from
like
twink
she's
to himbo, like definitely.
right. I mean, the muscle mass, the dude looks grown, like more adult, grown up. It's just, I'm like,
I mean, that's
him in
the
the
point.
suit
I mean,
still
the whole thing is like it
it's
has
still
been a
right.
while since that. I mean, it's
Yeah.
been 5 years since No Way Home, like literally in
And
universe
in the
and
movie
out of
time,
universe.
no, it's
so-
4 in 4 years.
Okay,
in the
4 or
movie
5 years.
timeline.
Well, you know what I
Right.
mean. It was close. 4 or 5
But
years.
essentially, yes, yeah. Which
But-
here's the thing. You know what that would mean, right? Because they were graduating high school seniors, which must mean that they have graduated, or at this point are graduating from undergrad, bachelor's degrees or whatever they would have gotten with MIT or otherwise. And there's a hint in the trailer about what comes next and whether they continue their higher education or what, like it's going to be probably a part of the story, not the defining factor, because obviously I mean, the timing of this, I'd imagine, is going to be summer break at the very least, so you're not at school, because clearly Zendaya and Ned are both in New York, and they were meant to be going to MIT, so like, what are they doing living, in Queens? But anyway, hey Watcher, how are you doing? But yeah, I was just gonna say, just a general observation. Peter Parker actually looks like, I mean, Tom Holland looks grown up.
It's definitely not
So,
Cronin, because
yeah.
I watched Black Lightning for 4 years, and no way that's him. That sounded like fucking Keith David. So
Yeah,
because I was
Keith
like, oh,
David's
maybe
voice,
it's
yeah.
Tremel Tillman, but then we hear him in the trailer. So it's there's that. So yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think it's I think it's Keith David, whoever he's gonna be.
Anthony.
Like that makes me even more excited. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I will say, okay, going to the screenshots, I'm mixed on it, because it's like, it's kind of like, like it reminds me of like in the BVS fight with Doomsday, where it's like in the middle of it, Zack does the fucking like Dark Knight Returns shot where it's like the lightning in the background and he's shooting it. It's like, okay, that doesn't make your movie good because you reference a comic book cover. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here. Obviously, it's hard to compare. Like BVS is a movie that was released. It's been a thing for 10 years.
10 years,
We can
10
go and watch
years.
it. This hasn't been released yet. So it's
not
entirely
even
possible
finished.
that they are not
Yeah.
in the final cut. It's entirely possible that these are just like they were filmed for the trailer, because there are plenty of shots in movies that are like filmed for the trailer. And this definitely gives off a filmed for the trailer kind of feel.
Mhm.
And so that's the vibe. Now, if they are, I mean, it's a little cringy, but it's just like, I will admit, like, when has Spider-Man not been cringy? I mean, I'll give them that. Do I love it? No, but it's not. It's for the most part harmless. But the thing is, if the movie's bad, then it's like, okay, you're just forcing the shit in here. Just say like, oh look, I'm referencing comics, and it just comes off as stupid. However, if the movie's good, then it's like, okay, it's just a cringy part of the movie if it's actually in the movie. So I'll give them that. Like, it's, are they a little cringy? Yeah. I remember some people I've been talking to, they said it was kind of fan film-ish. And I'm like, I can kind of see that, because this definitely has, like, Spider-Man Blue kind of vibes a little bit. Um, so,
Just quickly to kind of, we're gonna be going back and forth a lot, but like the idea
yeah.
in the chat, they're talking about the voice, Keith David's voice. Do you think it's a watcher kind of a situation, the character watcher, or do you think there's like some, like,
No, I don't think
Tony
it's
was
that
suggesting
big.
maybe there's a in-universe documentary or something? Because like, where's the narration coming from? Is it purely for the trailer? Because usually nowadays you don't really see that. You don't have a voiceover in the trailer, which it sounds like something that's being pulled from in movie, in universe somewhere. Somebody's talking. I mean, specifically this character, a lot of that voiceover relates to the 3 life cycles of, what was it, 3 lives of a spider or something. So I mean, does that mean we're gonna get to see Keith David, and what role is Keith David even playing in the movie? I didn't even realize he was in the film until like listening to his voice here. Um, but I mean, Tony, you're not wrong. Destin Daniel Cretton seems to have done a great job, at least based off this trailer alone. Uh, but yeah, that's a question that I hope like we can find an answer to, because obviously Sony knows people will be searching, for answers and
Yeah,
theorizing
that's
about
what
that.
I saw. I've seen people make that. I've seen people make that comparison. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
I don't think Destin Daniel Cretton has used the N word. Like, at least give him that. All right. So it does. But the thing is, what's so funny? It's like, oh, it's giving me Locust vibe. It's like, well, I mean, they're both loosely based on the same comic book story. If they are going in a Spider-Man Blue direction, like Spider-Man Locust was based on Spider-Man Blue. Like, that's like half the point. So it's like, if it's being based around the same thing, obviously it's going to feel kind of similar. So, yeah, it just, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I mean, speaking of dark and then the whole like rebirth idea, can you go to that next link for a sec? We'll talk about the hand in a moment. I want to get to the 4K screenshots later, because we'll then go to like some of these moments. But so it's pretty much at this point confirmed we're getting a man, like, not, I don't think they're gonna go all out man spider, but the whole rebirth concept is definitely gonna play a big part in the movie. How
Yeah.
far do you think they're gonna take it? Because ultimately this is still probably going to be a hard PG-13 Spider-Man movie. This is not going to get into body horror, I can't imagine. Like, you could
It would be
even tell in
awesome
the
if they
trailer
did,
didn't
but
go
I
too
don't
far
think
with
they're going to
that,
go
right?
that far.
Hi M2G, but like, what? Yeah, like, what do you think the eyes that he gets, is that something temporary? Because I don't think like he's meant to kind of look. Obviously, that I can't imagine
Well,
his eyes would look like that the whole time post transformation, right?
so I don't think they're going to go that far with like the whole man spider thing, cuz yeah, it's not MCU's bread and butter. Um I don't think they're going to go as far as like, what they did in the comics with like, Peter getting mouth raped and turning into a giant spider and then giving birth to himself. I don't think they're going to go that far to give him the organic webbing, but
That would be
I could
wild.
definitely see like they might do like man
Mhm.
spider vibes, where it's like they'll give him the black eyes, maybe they'll give him like an extra arm or something, and he's like kind of, or like doing like, or you know what it might be? It might be like a sanitized version of the Fly, where it's like you don't get into the really gross stuff, but like maybe he gets hair
Mm.
like on his face or something, or
Well, you get
like,
some shots in the trailer of him kind of being like, "Oh, there's webs everywhere," and he's
yeah,
sort
there's
of
webs
like,
everywhere, and then
maybe he's
maybe like one of his
memory
legs
loss.
is like double
Yeah.
jointed or something, and he's like
Mm-hmm.
clearly mutating, but like it's not gonna go as far as like, his skin is falling off, like it's blood. They're not. It's a PG-13 movie. Of course, they're not gonna go that far. They're not gonna go full man spider with it, because that would be fucking awesome. But it's Marvel. They're not gonna do that. But
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think,
yeah, I
but
get it.
yeah, this
Yeah.
is definitely like giving off the vibes of like PG-13 body horror, which is kind of interesting. Like, I'll give it that.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. Uh, but I'm just interested to see how far they push the concept, because obviously for the average fan who maybe does not, let's say the average moviegoer who hasn't read the comics, they'd be probably thinking, oh, you're gonna give him the, what am Tobey Maguire Spider-Man like organic webbing, which actually doesn't that predate the comics, because that was sort of the reaction to that. uh but anyway, that I thought that was just very interesting to get into. Let's keep going though. I think we want to get into other parts of the trailer. One thing that I saw online, a lot of reactions from people, was the idea that, hey, you finally get broke Peter Parker that everybody can relate to, which the times we live in right now, a lot of people, especially a lot of people living in cities like New York, they're probably, they can feel the squeeze, like the at the gas pump, at the grocery store, and it doesn't seem like things are going to get better anytime soon. I just, if you click through this, I think there were some really good reactions from, just people on the internet being like, finally Peter Parker, like, broken, depressed, now that's my Spider-Man. I just like love these, like, John, we have talked about so much that from the moment they introduced Spider-Man into the MCU to every time he had another Marvel hero next to him, especially with Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, and then the Tony Stark empire behind him up until, the last movie. But even then, it just felt like, with Happy and his resources, and what was left behind from Tony, like, Peter Parker never quite felt like the Peter Parker we know from the comics. And he almost, like, if anything, they were like, oh, he knows how to do work with Stark Tech and all that stuff. And it's just like, he was basically like, almost the adoptive son of Tony Stark. But now it very much feels like, now it very much feels like, here we go with Peter Parker. This Peter Parker is more like the one we know from the comics, and I feel like a lot of people are embracing it. What do you think about this? Because not only is this going to be now the fourth Spider-Man movie with the same actor, which is the first time, like you said, that's ever happened, but it's also now, isn't this like the seventh, like technically like seventh Tom Holland movie, like, or appearance as Spider-Man in a movie? Because he did two Avengers movies, he was in Captain America Civil War, and now of course fourth Spider-Man movie. So he's the longest tenured, most appearances Spider-Man character, and it took him 7 tries for Sony and Marvel to get to the point where, but thank you, Anthony. Absolutely, you guys, definitely, if you can, like and subscribe. We appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, it feels like Peter Parker for once. Like, it's that was the biggest.
It doesn't feel like light Miles Morales like he was for like fucking a decade. So, I'll give them that. That was this is like, he's like, No Way Home was definitely the start of like, okay, this guy's actually feeling like Spider-Man now, and here he feels like Peter Parker for once. He feels like Spider-Man. He feels like the proper character, and it's like, okay, I can finally get on with this. It's like, we took fucking 7 movies in 10 years for us to fucking get here, but we got here. Not Iron Man Jr. Little Iron Man Jr. gonna cry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, and a hello figure drawing, and we were literally talking about this. I kind of went through the whole process of how trailers are made, and then this movie is still in post-production, and how things change. So yeah, the CGI does look unfinished, and it's definitely because even this trailer coming out today, because it got released today, that means this trailer was locked in weeks ago. So where they are today with the movie in post-production is probably more advanced. Some of these shots look better, and probably if you were on the post-production side of things. But for those of us on the outside looking in, what we're looking at is probably shots that were locked in. Because if the trailer got locked in weeks ago, then that means that the VFX shots got pulled from the vendors probably a week or so before that even. So we're looking at where this movie was in post-production probably a month ago. And then they have to version it out with a million different ways, and versions that go in all the all the aspect ratios and everything that happens. So yes, cut them slack on the technical side. But yeah, I mean, dude, finally we get Peter Parker. One, by the way, character that's completely missing from this trailer, Decol bringing up, while we're getting a proper Spider-Man Peter Parker that feels like the Peter Parker we know from the comics, like you said, John, J. Jonah Jameson is not anywhere to be seen in this trailer at all, even though clearly his hate for Spider-Man lived well past Spider-Man's, the world forgetting Peter Parker in the last movie. Do you think they're just holding back on a few things? No worries, you can, be kind of rewind. figure drawing. But like, do you think that's
I mean,
like
here's the
he's
thing,
gonna be in the
like,
movie ultimately?
I mean, I don't think. I mean, it would be nice to have him there, but it just like with how different J. Jonah Jameson is in this universe, how he's like, oh, he's Diet Alex Jones, and it's like, all right, J. Jonah Jameson, don't besmirch J. Jonah Jameson's fucking name like that because he's more than that. So I feel like they gotta really do something to like actually have J. Jonah Jameson feel like the character. And I don't think they're gonna go that far. I think they just had him in there as like, okay, we have J.K. Simmons in, that's fun, haha. And I mean, I'm pretty sure J.K. Simmons is willing to come back, but I don't think they're going in that direction for this. So he's probably like, in college, maybe he's like interning somewhere, maybe, doing
Peter
this,
Parker,
that, and the other
mean?
thing.
I'm sure,
So,
not J. Jonah.
yeah. I don't think J.K. Simmons is gonna show up here. Though.
Well, I mean, look, they
so.
kind of. By the way, hello, moderator Fiona. Hello, fellow people of culture. Well, hello to you, Fiona.
Not saying they're gonna recast him or anything. It's just like I don't think he's gonna show up.
Well, I want to say he's gonna show up. I don't think they're giving everything away just yet. I bet you there's characters in this movie we definitely did not see. I mean, obviously Tombstone. We didn't see Tombstone at all, and we know they cast the character. So, you'll probably see him later. What I want to see is what he's doing at that point, because the Daily Bugle hasn't really played a role so far in the traditional sense in this franchise and with Marvel. But the Daily Bugle got a big upgrade going from like this small internet site to having like a big TV studio and stuff. So I can imagine that J. Jonah Jameson's like Daily Bugle has now sort of advanced into a more established news organization, however biased or whatever they might be, which was some meta commentary that they did in those movies. But I expect J. Jonah Jameson to feel closer to the version that we remember from, the Tobey Maguire movies years ago. But I just don't think they're gonna give that out. I mean, why give away everything in the in the first trailer? This trailer was over 2 minutes long. It was packed with reveals in almost every shot. And they still have stuff up their sleeve that they could probably even hold on to until the movie comes out. So I don't think they felt the need to put that out there, but that's just my take. I don't know. You guys let us know what you think. But then, John, of course, let's talk about Michelle. What's her name? Michelle Jones Watson, MJ.
Yeah.
She's still wearing the necklace that Peter gave her, and clearly in that sequence, it looks like a dinner party. Zendaya's character, I mean, she doesn't remember Peter Parker, like, and the way they're interacting is very much like two strangers, and he introduces himself like, he's a neighbor, and he's like, oh, friendly neighborhood, and he's like, and then there's a little like, clever dialogue to end the trailer,
clever.
but
clever, but
but yeah, and then they do show the shot where she comes face to face with Spider-Man, which was one of the clips released yesterday. So that all being said, why do you think she's still wearing the necklace? Because like the continuity of like what's the actual mechanism for how they forgot about Peter Parker, like they have to make sense of all the details. It's one thing to straight up say nobody remembers him, but then once you get into stuff like this, like, oh, is she gonna just throw out the necklace, or does she just not know how she got it? It's that whole situation of, it's not a time travel paradox. But John, like, how do you think they're going to address that stuff? Because clearly fans are noticing, and it's not a coincidence that, they've got her wearing this in the movie. Is this one of those situations where, Dom's going to go around Letty and just going to put the necklace on, and then eventually Letty's going to have a flashback and remember that they actually got married before she lost her memory, and that, Dom wasn't going to tell her? Like, where are we going with this? I just dropped a Fast and Furious reference for no reason, but what's up with the necklace, man? I just wanted to know.
I think she just was like, oh yeah, I think I got it from like an ex back in high school. Oh, and I like it, and that's it. That's as far as it goes.
Okay. All right. Well, I just got wound up for no reason. Does Peter have a girlfriend in this movie? I don't think they show
so.
him. I think he's doing the whole loner thing. Like he's really just focused on being Spider-Man and just fawning from a distance over MJ, who doesn't remember him. So. But like, remember when Happy walked up to him in the cemetery, which, we see Peter Parker revisit May's grave. He has no recollection of Peter Parker, not even a vague memory. But then you also get to see him interact with Bruce Banner, and he's like, well, what did you say your name was again? which we'll talk about in a little bit because I definitely want to get into all the Bruce Banner stuff because that's very interesting.
Thank God they're fucking getting rid of Professor Hulk. Jesus fucking Christ.
The Watcher saying he will have a girlfriend. Yes. Okay. Well, they didn't give that away so far, so I guess we'll see if who ends up being that. But yeah, I mean, definitely.
Because I will say, at least with like,
yeah,
the roles that certain like other characters have, like you have Bruce Banner. Okay, he's a professor at a college. I'll buy that. And then Punisher, he's just like, oh, he's just another street hero.
Empire State University.
I'll buy that.
Or Empire City.
Daredevil,
University?
another street hero. I'll buy that. Like at least with all these characters, like I'll give them. It's better than fucking being Senpai Stark, Iron Man Jr. bullshit in like Homecoming. I'll take it over that shit. So I think I think that's a little bit better. Like I understand because apparently there's like the weird deal with Sony, or that you have to include like other Marvel characters in these movies, which is okay, sure, I guess. But
Like other MCU
I think
characters,
these at least these like make
Oh, he
more
did,
sense
Fiona. He
than it's just
absolutely
like,
did.
oh yeah, make Spider-Man Iron Man Jr. because reasons. I'll take it over that. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was the one thing. Speaking of him feeling more like Peter Parker and all the ways that people have been critical of him,
Kitty
big
Pryde. I know he dated Kitty Pryde in the Ultimate Comics.
but a big
Which, by
part
the
of a
way,
lot
if
of
you have
people's
an X-Men
criticisms
in your
was
movie, we'll get that
the
to that
Avengers
soon.
characters.
It would Kitty Pryde would fucking make way more sense than Jean Grey. Like, what the fuck?
Yep. Well, let's keep going, John, because we got to talk about some of the Spider-Man, the iconic comic panels that they brought to life in the trailer, which I sincerely hope. I know you said they might not make it into the movie, but I really do hope they ultimately are in the movie because it just, to me, those moments are the kind of fan service that almost always works. I know Kayla was like, you got to earn it first, but I'm like, this is the fourth movie in this franchise. I think that especially with how well the last movie did, I think they've earned a few of these callbacks and shout outs for comic book fans. And for those of us who have not read the comics, this is the perfect opportunity for us to go and like get the Amazing Fantasy, like the first appearance of Spider-Man. And hopefully the shot will look better in the actual movie as well. But John, I mean, what did you think about? I mean, we kind of mentioned it a little bit earlier, but like, what did you think about these three iconic comic book callbacks that we got in the trailer?
Talk about it before, but I'm on the fence about it. Like, I'm kind of mixed. Like, oh, it's like, all right, you do the kind of cringy like comic book panels. It feels very like fan-esque, like a fan would write that into a script. So I can definitely see people being upset with that. I don't hate it, nor do I love it. I think it's like, let's see how the movie is, because then if it like actually works within the context of the movie, I'm like, okay, fine. But like if it's just like there to be there and it's just like kind of cringy like that BVS one, then it's like, okay, you could have done without that. So yeah.
But you know what? I agree with you, Ron, 100%. And hello, Ron. Finally
Feels like a Spider-Man movie. Congrats.
Yeah.
It only took
Love the trailer, says Ron.
After fucking Sam Raimi and Mark Webb hit the ground fucking running, but okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of us who caught the poses love the homage. I especially loved, if you go over left to the one in the middle. That to me was the one that stood out the most. Yeah, the Amazing Spider-Man one stood out the most to me because I feel like they actually already did this in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Like we already got this with Andrew Garfield's version of Spider-Man. That's that pose, and I even think that Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man did that too. But speaking of poses over the years, like the Amazing Fantasy pose we have seen before, they did a version of it for the Homecoming poster. I don't think
it was never in the movie. Yeah.
But here clearly they've got a shot that hopefully stays in the movie, looks even better. That looks a little unfinished right now. We'll talk about the Punisher in a moment, don't you worry, Ron. But yeah, I mean, John, you saw the animated Spider-Man, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. That's coming back for a season this year too on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that was also done for the poster. I don't think that was in the show.
But what
These
about
are
in
all
the original
from-
Tobey Maguire? Like that was in the movie, right? The original Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, because it was like a
Yeah.
newspaper picture. I think that's what it was. I think Peter took a
Yeah.
picture of himself. And that
Yep.
one's kind of pushing it. It's like it's very close, but it's not quite that because it's on the wrong side and you know the legs are different and all that. But yeah,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
very
Hey,
cute.
Fiona, giving out 5 memberships. That is awesome. Thank you. Or actually, are you giving out membership? No, you're just 1,000 more subs. Oh, is that a super chat? I can't tell. Or is that what is that on the YouTube side of things? Yeah. We are getting close to, we are about 1,000 subscribers away from 100,000. So thank you, Fiona, for that. So like and subscribe, everybody. I can't tell these different color-coded messages what they're meant to represent in StreamYard. I'll figure it out eventually. But thank you to everybody watching. John, let's keep going. Can you actually go skip across? I want to get to the 10 reveals and stuff because we'll start theorizing a little bit later. The comicbookmovie.com did a good job with that.
It's
but
next.
before we even get there,
Perfect
Well, no,
timing
no.
there.
I know, but like, can we actually? Sorry, can we skip to the screenshots for a moment? Because I want to talk about
All
a few
right, then
things.
you were wrong. Then anyway,
Well, I just want to talk about some of the stuff like you guys are mentioning in the chat. Yeah, it was a free membership chat. Oh, that's right. Yes. Well, thank you, Fiona. Thank you. If you were up for that, then that'd be great. But that is absolutely your call. If you guys can do membership chats and they'll show up in the special green color and then we'll give them priority in the chat. But yeah, John, walk us through some of these images because this to me right here was one of those like kind of moments that every Spider-Man, has had to do before. Like we've clearly seen one of those like, oh, he's just sitting upside down moments. And we had that with Tobey Maguire. We had that with Andrew Garfield. And I feel like we didn't have enough of that, like Peter Parker just sitting with himself moments, because it seems like the MCU sort of treated Peter Parker up until this point very similar to a lot of the other heroes, where they don't get a lot of that, like, internal character development. Like Peter Parker his character felt very reactionary in those previous movies. Like he had powers, and with great power comes great responsibility, or whatever Aunt May said. But like he always felt like he was one step behind the problems that he was trying to solve. Here it feels like he's like, just in peak Spider-Man mode.
yeah. Sorry,
and
CGI people. Next, don't move like that. Just saying.
that would snap in the wind. But I mean, then again, Spider-Man's
Also,
superhuman.
I'm
That's
just
a
gonna
cool
say this
shot.
was one of my favorite shots in the
Yes.
trailer.
Thank you, Fiona,
because
for
I'm
the
like,
membership
that's
gifts.
we've never seen it like him. Because at first, when the clip was revealed yesterday, I thought he was like looking at his phone or something. No, that's him in the fucking suit, and like him reacting, like him just kind of just being like so cold. And I'm like, oh shit. That's fucking cool. Like, come on, even people got to admit that's a pretty cool shot of like him in the suit, but you could see like his eye. Like, I understand it. Like, I know people are gonna point out, oh, it doesn't work like that. Like, why the fuck would they do that? But like, fucking have suspension of disbelief for fucking 2 seconds before you jump down my fucking throat. I'm just saying, it's a really cool shot, and I love how they did that. Very cool.
It is a great shot. It's
Shut
one
the
of my
fuck up
favorite
for your
shots.
drawing. Have suspension of disbelief. This is a
It's-
guy
yeah.
that got bit by a radioactive spider and can fucking jump from buildings. Shut up. Goddamn.
But it's the perfect suspension of disbelief moment, because like if Iron Man can have enough room for us to stick a camera inside him, so his helmet, then clearly you can do that here. But also this is the kind of thing that's been done even in superhero movies. So I thought this was a really cool moment, because again, it gives us because look, eyes are the windows to the soul, and when you see a shot like this, you get to feel what Peter Parker's feeling. And you imagine this shot on the big screen in IMAX or in the big movie theaters or Dolby, because it's not going to be playing in IMAX, but it's gonna tell you exactly what Peter Parker is thinking in that moment, because of how expressive your eyes are and how much they emote about what you're feeling as humans in general. The Game Freakness, hello, live in the chat. Great theory about Sadie Sink. We will be getting into that in a moment. So speaking of which, John, let's keep going down. Let's get into some of those key moments in the trailer, because we haven't talked about all the other characters in this trailer all that much just yet. Obviously, we have Ned.
Got
We
Ned
have
Leeds looking like a what the fuck is he wearing, and what the fuck is that wig?
It looks like he lost a lot of weight, which I think
No,
is
I know
because
Jacob
Jacob
Batalon did
Batalon
lose
in
a lot
real
of weight.
life,
That's good.
did
Good for
that.
him.
So
Like,
yeah,
awesome. That's great.
absolutely.
No, I'm just saying
and
that
he's
what is
looking
with that
great.
shirt? What is with that? Is the wig budget like 2 cents? Like, Jesus, get my man a better wig here, or just say he shaved his head, because Jacob Batalon's bald in real life. So just
Mhm.
say he fucking shaved his head. Like,
Yeah.
it's fine. He's like, oh, it was getting too long, and fuck it, I shaved it. Like, just say that, all right? So,
I'm happy with this look.
and
I
there he
really
is.
I
You see
thought that
his
was good.
bruises, and then you see
Yeah.
you see it in the wash, which is kind
I
of
also
funny.
like this moment where he's washing his suit. They cut away right as something seems like is about to get stuck. Maybe the suit gets ripped up by it or something like that, because it just there's a sound that it makes. I was like, wait, was he not supposed to? Was that supposed to be okay to throw it in the washing machine? Because maybe those eyes are getting like all roughed up by the washer. But anyway, the keys to the city. This moment right here. Pause on this for a second.
That's
By
what
the
I
way,
did.
it's been 4 years since the last Spider-Man movie, Fiona, to answer your question. It does feel like a long ass time. The last one made almost $2 billion. And actually in the movie, they skipped 4 years. So like they were high school seniors graduating at the end of the last movie, and now presumably they would have just graduated college, or maybe, if they decide to, go back for masters, like MJ and Ned, incredibly smart kids, or they were, so who knows. But anyway, I think that's going to be part of the story, but they're all in New York, so this movie probably takes place in the summer months when, they've just graduated and whatnot. But anyway, keys to the city. This right here is meant to be this actress plays a character who's sort of a lieutenant to the Kingpin, Mayor Kingpin, which we will see in Daredevil Born Again season 2 in just, days time. And that show will be done airing by the time this movie comes out. We know, and we'll talk about it even later in the show today, that they were hinting at the idea, even Vincent D'Onofrio himself, that while Kingpin won't be going away at the end of season 2, his circumstances will change quite significantly. Hello, Movie Spud. Glad you enjoyed the trailer. So, and we know Kingpin would be the last person to be handing over the keys to the city to Spider-Man. So, in my mind, this completely, yes, Game Freakness, absolutely, I thought about that too. I actually saw the trailer on the Sony PlayStation channel too. But to me, in my mind, this completely confirms the idea that, Wilson Fisk is not going to be the mayor by the end of Daredevil Born Again season 2. What did you think about this? What do you think happened here? Because clearly they're not afraid to like put this out in the open. Obviously, it's Sony versus Marvel Studios.
Maybe,
so,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Confirming my theory that we're gonna get Mayor Luke Cage.
Oh, how do you figure that?
Well, I remember like when we were talking about one of the times Mike Coulter was like, saying stuff that like, that there was a picture of like Luke Cage for mayor. So I'm guessing he becomes mayor in the comics. So I'm like, it would be real interesting if like, he ran and he became mayor, and that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Parker's had a rough go of it for a while. So well, at least keys to the city means that he, I guess, is in the good graces of the government, because later in the trailer we see that he's working with the DODC, the Department of Damage Control. The Department of Damage Control is going after pretty much all the mutants in the MCU, right? That's what Wonder Man was about. That's what even Miss Marvel was about. And it seems like they're working with the Peter Parker instead. He's getting keys to the city. So clearly, either they don't think he's a mutant until maybe later in the movie when he does, get this transformation. All of a sudden, he doesn't have web shooters, because there you can see he's got web shooters. So I want to say this is probably from the early part of the movie. Maybe things will change, and by the end of the movie, he's not, on the same side as the Department of Damage Control, because they think that he's a mutant now. Maybe Sadie Sink's character has something to do with that, John. Let's keep going, because this is now where we get to see the Punisher moment. To me, this was one of the best parts of the trailer. Clearly, the two of them don't quite agree with, how they, dish out justice, let's say, to the point where Punisher is like, dude, like, you want me to push you out of the way so I can do my job? And Spider-Man's like, no, I will do that for you. Not only that, it actually, if you watch back the trailer a few times, I noticed that Frank Castle is about to say the F word, and Peter Parker just
and then
interferes like
gotta
in
keep
time.
it PG-13, Frankie boy. Come on now.
But like, your thoughts on this? What do you think about the Punisher? We got a little bit of this in the clips from yesterday, but you get to see much more of it here. And this is, of course, this was shot in the streets of Glasgow, standing in, as New York City, of course. So you get to see, a nice mishmash of all that. But your thoughts? Like, what did you think about how big of a role will he play here? Because obviously the Punisher is probably the one character we're going to see more than any of the Marvel character this year, between Daredevil Born Again, Spider-Man Brand New Day, his own special presentation, and whatever else he might pop up in later in the year.
It's entirely possible that I would bet that like Punisher probably has like a pretty small role, but I mean there is also the rumor that like whoever Sadie Sink's character is going to be, like Punisher is going to be protecting her from like Damage Control or someone, and Spider-Man's like after her, but Punisher's protecting her, so that could definitely be something, whether it's Rachel Alves or somebody else. So yeah.
Also, wait, can you scroll up for a second? Can you scroll up for a second? By the way, this was shot in the streets of Glasgow, and he does have his web shooters. So I think just by looking at when he's got his web shooters and when he doesn't, you can kind of tell what part of the movie this is from. So you got to imagine this is probably early in the movie. So
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna get to the sword breaking webs a little bit later. I bet you that's gonna be a big part of this, hopefully. And yes, D. Cole, I 100% think there's gonna be a post-credit scene which ties into Avengers Doomsday. How directly will it involve Spider-Man? Not too sure, but there will definitely be at least one, if not two, post-credit scenes. That's like a must. Like they've been doing that pretty consistently over the past 18 months, so I think they'll do that. Okay, let's keep going. So we got the Punisher in. The hype keeps building. What other screenshots do we have to look at here? They're throwing.
We got a Paul, guys. We have a Paul. Here it is, folks. We have Paul. Oh my God, the MCU version of Paul. Ain't that
Iman Esfandi? Iman Esfandi, he's a Persian actor, and he's I think, what was he in? He was in a couple other things. I forget his resume is not too deep, but he's been in a couple other shows, and we knew he was playing the boyfriend of MJ, but it doesn't seem like MJ is maybe super happy. But then again, I guess that's MJ's character. She's really meant to be this understated person, I suppose. Like,
it's definitely like, oh, I have this thing coming out of me, and he's like, I want web to come out of me. Just like that scene from No Way Home. I want to fight an alien.
Does that come out of you? Like, how's that work? It's like, now it's like, oh great, now I'm the only one who doesn't have that. So imagine if they do meet in like Secret Wars, then yes, Andrew Garfield can have his moment.
Oh, it's Ezra Bridger. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's
okay.
Cool.
All right, there we go.
From Star Wars Rebels, who doesn't know?
No, he's not Indian. I looked it up. I think he's Persian. Let me just Esfandi. There we go, Esfandi. I was gonna misspell his name. He was in Ahsoka. That's what I was thinking about. So he was in Ahsoka on Disney Plus. I mean, he was born in Laredo, Texas, but he was born to immigrant parents. He was Iranian. His mother is Ecuadorian. So there you go. So I mean, he's not Indian, close, but not quite. Let's keep going though, because clearly that will create some complications, depending on how long that relation. I mean, the relationship could be as long as 4 years. Like, maybe MJ didn't know Peter Parker existed for the entirety of her time at MIT. So who knows? Yeah, you know what, Figure Drawing? The mystery is still there. Speaking of the mystery, hold on, John, can you scroll up? That scanning thing that's going on, then that screenshot, that's, if you zoom in enough, it's Agent Ramirez or something. This is clearly a Department of Damage Control scan. So I bet you, this is my speculation on this, that whatever happens with his transformation into like the Man Spider, like organic webbing and everything, what's probably going to happen is he's still going to have some people at the Department of Damage Control he's able to sort of work with to figure out what is going on with him on the inside. But then eventually that will get him in trouble with the Department of Damage Control because they'll realize, oh shit, now he's, not just the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, he's basically a mutant. So, that's going to be interesting, especially because now let's talk about Bruce Banner and his involvement, because there was a big Easter egg on this one, John. If you actually click on that screenshot right there, you see on Mark, not Mark, what's the actor's name? Mark Ruffalo. Mark Ruffalo. On his right hand, on Bruce Banner's right hand, he's got something there. I don't know if you can zoom into this, but
I can't.
Whatever that is got a bit of a green glow to it.
Yeah. Screw it up. Hang on.
So
let me see if I can. Hang on. Let me just. So I don't.
But I wonder, because clearly, like you said, it looks like Professor Hulk is gone. And we have seen Mark Ruffalo in human form now in the end of Shang-Chi. The last time we saw him in Hulk mode was in She-Hulk.
So we see this. Oh, all right. Well,
yeah,
I tried. But yeah, we see this device on his hand, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll go to the chart in a second. But what do you think that device is? What's keeping him from hulking out? Is that what we're looking at here?
I would take a wild guess, because it's just I'm curious what happened now, because so much stuff happens to Hulk off screen because they can't give this fucking guy a fucking movie. Because God forbid if Disney doesn't get the distribution for fucking and gives it to Universal. God fucking forbid.
Yeah. By the way, let's go back to that shot, the scan shot for a moment. Watcher, what storyline are you talking about here? Is this referring to something specific?
Let me just try to. We'll zoom into this.
Oh, it says his powers are superior now. I didn't even zoom in to find that out. Superior strength, superior agility, heightened senses, enhanced perception. I mean,
I don't think that means anything. I think
it might just be a tease or a wink from the production design team. I don't know if that means that we're getting anything I don't think we're getting superior Spider-Man, if that's what you're hinting at, or anything like that. But John, do you think them just setting up the idea that he's wearing some kind of bracelet, Bruce Banner is, maybe to prevent the Hulk from coming out? Does that mean, because here's the thing, in every movie where there's been a version of Bruce Banner that can turn into the Hulk, they always, turn him into the Hulk. So do you think that's just a setup for the payoff that we will get a Hulk versus Spider-Man scene? Because there's been rumors, they didn't really film any of that in the public eye. I imagine most of it would have been in CGI anyway.
It doesn't look like a heart monitor, though. It looks like some kind of technology. So
it's. I mean, I think maybe it was.
I'm willing to bet, so that he doesn't break the fuck out of he doesn't break everything in his sight in his Professor Hulk body. That he.
But do you think he will eventually? Because are we gonna get a Hulk? Because there's been rumors that we might get the Hulk.
There were rumors, but I don't know. It's entirely possible. But it's just now it's again, what happened? What happened to Professor Hulk? Not I care, because I fucking hated Professor Hulk, but I still care enough. It's so much shit happens off screen now. It's just well, what the fuck happened? Now I don't know.
I will say though, it's this clearly shows that ultimately Peter Parker didn't end up going to MIT. Kind of feel bad for him. He went to instead Empire State University, which I guess is a stand-in for probably
which, by the way, Troy Oboyo 17 was 100% right about. He did definitely say that. So
the other thing I was going to mention is it seems like Bruce Banner is going to become his mentor, his latest mentor, even if
he's going to be essentially the Kurt Connors of this universe,
which is interesting, which is very interesting. And I totally would love to see the original Hulk back. I want the Green Hulk. I want him going wild. I want to see what Spider-Man does. And I hope it's, I mean, you're not going to kill off Hulk. And there's no way that's going to end with the Hulk dying in any way. So I feel pretty confident if you do get a fight, it would just be great for the fans. And then you can move on with the character. And then everybody will be happy that, the OG Hulk is back. But let's keep going. So This is clearly probably, it feels like almost like Man of Steel, where his like spidey senses are overwhelming him. I like this shot. It's very similar to also when he gets the reveal of, you know, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. It's like almost the same pose, sort of a callback to even those movies. I also like that the cloth of the suit looks much more homemade. It's definitely not the, you know, it's always skin tight, you know, stretches back elastic suit that's very high tech that Tony Stark gave him. So another reminder that we're getting, you know, a much more of a low tech, you know, Spider-Man suit, which will probably be, you know, completely tech less by the time we get the transformation. Because here we go. This is it. This is the first time I think we see in the trailer Spider-Man with organic webbing. This is one of the shots we got in the clips yesterday.
It definitely gives off the like the vibe of the scene in the first Spider-Man where he's like up and away web, fly,
Yep.
Shazam,
Fly.
and then he's like, oh shit, okay.
Yep, there we go. You have no idea how often I imitated that growing up. I was like, one day the web will come out, and then I'll be Spider-Man.
I actually had a
it's
toy,
like, you
and I'm sure you
believe.
probably remember these.
Yes.
Where it's like,
yes,
you
I
had
do.
the thing on your
like,
arm,
yes.
and it was like
And then
silly
it had
string or water,
yes.
and you could like,
oh yeah, dude. Oh, it was so much fun, and we annoyed so much people with that. Me and my cousins.
The thing I hated as a kid, so you could see like me like doing the thing with my left hand, like, but for some reason my right hand, like I don't know, like the muscles or whatever in my hand are awkward, so I can't do it on this hand.
Same. Look. My left, like
I can do it like this. But I can't do the like actual
pinky.
like Spidey devil horns,
and
it always pissed me off as a kid.
My left pinky finger doesn't
down.
extend. My left pinky finger also doesn't extend all the way, so you can see there's also, a little crooked always.
Here's another thing about me, guys. So if like the robots are taking over and they need a like perfect body double, I actually have this thing with my forefingers and thumbs where both of them, I can't, if they're open, like hand open or both open like this, I can't close my thumbs without closing my index fingers. Like I could do it like this is fine, but I can't
really?
like unless it's already down. Like I could do that, but I can't for some reason close my thumbs without closing my forefingers. Very weird, like muscle, not double jointed, but like a muscular thing that I have.
Yeah. Figure drawing, it wasn't silly string to me. Still real to us. It's still real to us, figure drawing.
Yes, of course.
It was actual spider webs that we swung off of from the bed all the way to the couch, and sometimes you landed in the lava, and that's all right. Because remember, there was like literally in the Spider-Man game back in the day, there was like this like where if you swung and you didn't make it, like the city, it was like lava, not lava, but like it was this red thing that you disappeared into. So, anyway, John is a mutant confirmed. All right, cool. Let's keep going.
I actually,
you
might be. I actually might be. It's like,
let's
hey,
not
what's
give
your
away
mutant
all our
power?
secret? Yeah.
That's it. It's like not these, and then like Wolverine like has. It's like I can do this.
Let's keep going because we got a May Parker.
Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to get into. We got May Parker here.
Yeah.
Him being sad.
Again, he looks like a grown ass man all of a sudden. I feel like he looks more grown up in this trailer than he does in the real life.
Hip hop album that's about to drop. Like
this is like Eminem. This is like I can easily do an AI version of this where you just swap out the face with Eminem and he's about to like go into a big rap sequence or something like that. Yes, totally could see that happening. But yeah. Let's keep going because now we got to get to talk. Let's talk about Sadie Singh's character because it seems like the Department of Damage Control has her locked away somewhere, and clearly she gets out, and then she starts causing quite a bit of chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. But anyway, let's talk about Jean.
So
is it Jean Grey? Who is she playing, John? What are they hinting at? Because she caused a lot of damage.
I'm thinking Shathra. That was the big rumor, and I don't think she's Jean either.
But dude, keep scrolling, because literally the whole reason why everybody in the world is thinking she's Jean Grey is because that whole tank sequence. Eventually, once you open up the tank, there's this old lady in there driving it. clearly with a, you know, the knowing smile, almost like the character that Miss Marvel punches the old lady on the bus. Then whatever this spirit is, moves into the I'm guessing a Department of Damage Control soldier, and then it goes up to the soldier on the second floor and keeps going. So do you think this is telekinetic powers, you know, that are being
It's more like
display here?
it's
Like,
more
what is
like
this?
body swapping, and I don't
Yeah.
think Jean Grey has that power. I mean, they've been kind of
But, like, she
loosey-goosey
can-
for years on what Jean Grey can actually do, because she's an
Yeah.
Omega level mutant. But like, I mean, it's entire like the closest she would have is that she has astral projection, but this still isn't really what astral projection
But like
is.
mind control, you can do, right? Like that's
I mean, she does have okay, so this is what Jean Grey has in the comics that when she's not part of the Phoenix Force, because I don't think she would be, is astral projection, telekinesis, telepathy, and empathy. So she's an empath, so she can
Mhm.
change your emotions.
Mhm.
Telepathy is when she can read your mind. Telekinesis is when you can move things around with your mind. Astral projection is when you can project yourself or other things onto like other people, or like kind of like hallucinatory stuff, which is the closest to body swapping we get, but she
right.
doesn't really have that in the comics all that much. And again, they could change it because, you know, they gotta, you know, oh, we gotta do this, that, and the other thing. And so I can kind of see it, but like I don't think I don't think this looks like body swapping, you know? And I don't
I don't,
think Jean Grey has that.
but I feel like the distinction you're trying to make is not nearly as distinct in this trailer. It very much could easily be a depiction of just mind control, briefly. But like you said, it's maybe the logic behind it. If like Spider-Man's chasing the person and she's just taking over a different character and then like jumping around, would obviously make it hard for them to like catch her. It also seems like she broke containment, like they had her and she broke out rather than being caught during the course of the movie. And it clearly shows that Spider-Man's working with Department of Damage Control. Speaking of which, let's talk about this guy here, Tremel Tillman, one of the best actors, you know, up and coming, from Severance to Mission Impossible to now Spider-Man. In the subtitles, we'll talk about it later. I mean, let's talk about it right now. In the subtitles for this trailer, if you turn those on YouTube, when he's talking, he's identified as simply Bill. Do you think that's a reference to, what was it, Bill or William, was it Gurwitch, was it, or something like that? Is he that an obscure X-Men character? Are we working our way to the mutant saga by way of Spider-Man Brand New Day? Is that where this is headed?
You know, it's entirely possible. But I don't think so. Because it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like, why the fuck are the X-Men appearing in a fucking Spider-Man movie? Like, that just makes no sense to me.
But I mean, they're headed towards the mutant saga, and I feel like they're gonna start to classify, even though in the comics, like you said, Watcher, he's more of a mutate and not a mutant. I think they're gonna probably be hinting at the idea that Spider-Man's gonna be treated like a mutant in the mutant saga. So that's probably how it all ties
It's
together.
Bill Metzger. Bill Metzger.
Metzger. Okay, sorry, there you go. So Bill Metzger is an X-Men, you know, relatively obscure X-Men character, but he is an X-Men character. Do you think that's the character that Tremel Tillman is playing?
Because it's like, his name is Bill. It's Bill, the most generic name.
But like William is often shortened
next
as Bill.
to Bob. Like,
But
really? Like, oh, his name's Bill. That means he's playing an X-Men character. Okay, that's all you got. Like,
No, but like
you're
I'm
grasping
just
at
saying,
straws, my guy. Like,
I
get the
know it's a
fuck outta here.
loose thread, but I'm just saying, obviously that's why we're calling it Easter eggs and speculation. So, but all right, well let's go to the reveals, the 10 reveals, and let's kind of continue, because I think some of this stuff we're already talking about. So let's go to comicbookmovie.com put together a great article about the 10 biggest reveals and possible spoilers. And here we'll talk about, of course, Scorpion is back, and we get to see him, Michael Mando, in the costume, which looks pretty good to me. But let's go through these top 10 reveals, some of which we've talked about, but let's see which ones we might have missed. We all loved seeing Punisher and Bruce Banner and their decal, some of the highlights. But yeah, I mean, we talked about, it seems like we might be getting Daredevil Born Again spoiled a little bit, but then again, they don't directly spoil anything. We don't really know where Wilson Fisk is. I don't think they're gonna like cannibalize their own audience by spoiling a show before Daredevil even starts airing season 2. But we'll talk about the hand in a moment because we're getting there. Let's keep going. Let's keep going down the list because we talked about the Daredevil stuff already. So like number 9 on the list is MJ. Well, we talked about the necklace. Let's keep going. The Punisher stuff we already talked about. I'm really excited to see how that works out. The Man Spider stuff we talked about early. I don't think he's gonna be Superior Spider-Man. Bruce Banner's hand, that was another one. Sadie Singh's mystery character. I think right now the leading theory is Jean Grey, but like you said, John, it could still not be. But I feel like Occam's razor might apply ultimately. We just mentioned the Tremelt Tillman theory. It clearly looks like he's maybe the case officer working on the Sadie Singh character at the DODC, and you could see Spider-Man sitting. The fact that Spider-Man's sitting there talking to him like that feels almost like in the Batman. Batman literally walks into the crime scene and is working with the Gotham Police Department. But anyway, let's keep going. What's the next item on the list? I think there's 3 more.
Is the villains,
Sinister villains. What did you think about these guys? We didn't really talk about these so far. Michael Mando is back.
They're fine. I mean, Tarantula looks like shit. Boomerang looks pretty good. Scorpion looks great. Like, we haven't even talked about Scorpion yet, and it's like, finally, Nacho is finally in this goddamn fucking movie series. Like, you teased him back in Homecoming. It's like you had one of the best actors who played one of the best characters on one of the best shows of the past 20 years, and you don't use him until the 4th movie. Get the fuck out of here. Come on now.
But you know what? These shots really very much feel like montage shots. Because I don't 100%. Think these villains will figure in too much.
Like, we've already confirmed that it's going to be like a montage early on in the movie, which I do kind of like because it's a reference to the Spider-Man 4 we didn't get with Sam Raimi, where it was like he was going to be like capturing all these like C and D list villains at the beginning of the movie, and like he was going to throw them into like the police station, and it was like this whole thing like showing how much better Spider-Man is right now and all that stuff. So it's like I feel like this is Destin Daniel Cretton's like wink and a nod to the Spider-Man 4 that didn't happen, because he's directing the Spider-Man 4 that did happen. So
yeah,
there's that. Well, but I'm just glad we got Scorpion. Like,
I mean, Scorpion
could he be
looks
better?
Good,
sure, like look better. But honestly, I'm just happy we have him.
I agree. I think the Watcher, what you're saying, that's the theory right now, that all these smaller villains are working for Tombstone, and he's the one kind of running the show behind the scenes, that maybe he even kind of takes over the empire that Wilson Fisk might leave behind as it crumbles, and fills in that power gap, the power vacuum. But actually, as far as toys for this movie, some of these looks at Boomerang and Tarantula and stuff we already got in Scorpion from some of the action figures that they already put out. Well, usually those get leaked out before the movie comes out, and we saw those, we talked about them weeks and months ago. So actually that design right there, we kind of knew that's what it would look like. And also some of the artwork got leaked, so it's not entirely a surprise that that's how they look. But like you said, I feel like this is going to be in a montage of like, oh, I'm just being Spider-Man now. I'm just full-time Spider-Man, just trying to be a friendly neighborhood superhero, saving New York from the bad guys. And you see these little battles and like these montagey moments at the beginning of the movie before we move on to the actual story. But yeah, it definitely feels like Tombstone. I mean, they haven't shown us any even glimpse of Tombstone so far, and we know he's most likely going to be the primary villain of the movie ultimately. So yeah, we're getting closer to a Sinister Six, but then again, we've been close before, so I don't know if we're ever gonna get there or not. Now let's keep going from the sinister villains to the Hand. Let's talk about the Hand. The Watcher said it. A lot of you guys mentioned it. John, your thoughts on this? Because this was one of the coolest moments where the Hand come at him with this sword, and the dude just uses his webs to snap the sword in half, but also the Hand have some more advanced tech, and then not only are they fighting him in prison where he doesn't even have the mask on, but Spider-Man later on is fighting him on like the roofs of New York City, like the rooftops of New York City. So what is going on? Do you care to speculate on how the Hand figures into all of this? And again, tying him more to the street level.
I'm torn between on whether or not this is a big plot point or part of the montage. Like that's like I'm torn between the two.
But like there's two distinct sequences. There's the one in the prison, and then there's the one which we see later on where
so
he's
it's entirely
on the
possible that first one, the one on the rooftops, that's going to be in the training montage, just the montage in the beginning, and then we're going to get more Hand
This
stuff
feels
later.
like a longer sequence. Okay, I mean, do you think this is another one of those tombstone things, or like how does it play into the rest of the movie?
I have no idea, because this, you have in the prison, it's entirely possible that like,
you think he's the one? Like, how do you think they even end up there? I'm like, was Spider-Man?
Maybe Spider-Man goes to visit someone in prison, like for information, and like the Hand is there, or because it feeds into the plot or something. I don't know.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we'll find out. But I thought this was some of the coolest stuff. And again, it's another way that they're tying this into the street level aspect of Spider-Man, which they did say they're trying to get back to that and more back to the basics approach, while giving us Bruce Banner, Punisher, and 5 different villains, and possibly Jean Grey. But still, it's more street level than the previous movies, which I guess says something. Yeah, they want Spider-Man dead. Well, obviously. Yeah, I think that was established pretty much from the moment we saw the antagonistic visual relationship between the two parties in those sequences. But yeah, I mean, John, your thoughts overall? You gave it a 9 out of 10. Was there anything you wanted to see that you didn't see in this trailer?
No, I think this covered pretty much everything.
What was like your biggest surprise that they gave away? Because also remember we saw that leaked trailer months ago. There's definitely stuff in there that wasn't in that trailer, if I remember correctly. So this definitely is a different version of the trailer than what was leaked as a test trailer. So, I mean, yeah, were there any big surprises that you didn't see coming from this trailer today?
Not really. Like I got everything I expected. Like the only thing that was maybe a surprise was like, oh, he's transforming, but we already kind of got that with the organic webbing. So I just didn't realize that was going to be a big plot point. They're just like, I thought it was going to be like, oh yeah, it's been a while since a spider bite, or like some, and he just got organic web shooters because of reasons. But no, it's like an actual plot point that like this dude is fucking mutating, and it's like, oh shit, what's gonna fucking happen now? So yeah.
Yeah, by the way, good, Movie Spud, we are all, at this point, I think we were all really hyped.
Both
John and I kind of gave it 9 out of 10. Beside the point. But I love what Tony is saying here. Spider-Man 3 was loaded with characters, and it felt like, there were maybe too much going on. But then again, like, we live in a world where they've made Avengers movies, where they had like 30 different hero characters alone.
Not to mention the Doomsday. That has every character under the fucking sun. Like, I mean,
Superman last year had like an entire Justice League's worth of characters, and then the villains, and then everybody else. So clearly, I mean, look, it's not about the number of characters. It's about how you go about telling that story, because not every character will be a main character. Not every character is going to get the same amount of screen time. That's always been an exaggerated, characterization of why Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3 didn't work. It wasn't because of the number of characters. There's other problems with the story if you really dig down into it. And I don't think this movie so far, it feels like we're going to feel that squeeze. In fact, most Spider-Man MCU movies have felt like there's a lot of characters. Except for the first time, I think now we're getting to a point where I mean, it's only a trailer, but it doesn't seem like an Avenger is gonna, take the spotlight in this movie for once. Or the one that is gonna take the spotlight is actually Spider-Man. Uh, no Doctor Strange, no Iron Man. Yeah, we're getting Bruce Banner, but are we gonna get the Hulk? We don't even know for sure. So it looks like the story firmly focuses on Peter Parker. At least the trailer gives us that vibe. So yeah, I mean the spider sense goosebumps, every little detail, and the fact that we still didn't get a look at J. Jonah Jameson. We don't even see Tombstone. If Peter Parker has a girlfriend in the movie, we don't see that here. Where's Happy? Are we gonna get a Happy cameo?
I don't think so. That doesn't make sense.
There's also like a lot of other elements of this, the MCU that we don't get. I mean, we barely get to see, the Punisher, and so there's still the vast majority of the movie's secret. I mean, a movie obviously we haven't seen, but also a lot of the secrets they haven't quite given away. So yeah, they've definitely moved Spider-Man to the street level a lot more with it, which is great to see. But at the same time, it definitely still feels like a really, really big movie. And like I said, on the technical aspects of it, they need to improve a lot of the VFX shots and the color grading, but that's naturally part of the process of when you release a first trailer. You'll get incomplete looking shots, especially for a movie that is very heavily relying on CGI. So they'll be working to improve that and finish those up as we get to maybe the second trailer in a month or two before the movie comes out. So, but yeah, John, the one thing we can end off here is apparently Sony Pictures went ahead and did a compilation of all the fans around the world that did these like trailer reveals, which, I mean, again, great job to the fans. Some of these, folks are really, I mean, from all different walks of life. There was one guy who was like, I've climbed this like crazy mountain many a times for charity wearing the Spider-Man costume. And he's like, he is, obviously raised a lot of funds for a good cause, but now he gets to be a part of this trailer launch event.
Hopefully this international tour like actually fucking means something, on like the Superman one, where it got like 1 million fucking internationally. So
but I still think the release strategy was dumb. Like,
it is dumb. I don't think it's not these guys' fault.
It's not their fault. I appreciate
the fact
the fans
that they
getting
were
involved.
Part of this at all is really cool. But
really
I think this is what they should have done and that's it. Like, just have like this compilation of like all these amazing people being inspired by this great character. Like, at the end of the day, we might all be different, but you know what? At the end of the day, we love that. We love Peter Parker dressing up in a red and blue costume and fucking spatting out webs at people. Like, that at the end of the day, we just love to see that. And that's pretty awesome. It's just like the weird marketing of like giving them clips, and you play a 1 second clip and it doesn't make sense, and it's just like, why? So, but that's not their fault. That's Sony's fault. It's 100% Sony's fault. So blame them. Never blame the fans, because when you blame the fans, then you have to come out a day later after one of the greatest comic book writers of all time calls you out on being an idiot. So so here we are in premium formats. Not IMAX, though.
The Odyssey got those.
Sir President, get fucked. Anyway.
Well, to answer your question, Tony, I would love to see a Hulk rampaging through New York City. I can imagine the PTSD that would give to New Yorkers who will still probably remember the Battle of New York in the MCU, but I guess we'll find out. You guys let us know in the comments down below what you thought about the Spider-Man Day trailer.
The MCU ride ain't over yet, Dan, because we have our other
let's get into it.
red hero on the streets of New York. Although he's not dressed in red here. Well, he kind of is, because it's kind of like
red and black.
It looks like he just painted his fucking suit black. It's like, dude.
I think that's the idea, right? We have talked about that before, actually. It's meant to be a little, like, it's going to wear off a little bit as it goes.
Anyway, so Daredevil Born Again creative team talks the Defenders reunion as new rumor points to spoilers return. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, Sana Amanat talked about bringing the Private Eye back into the MCU fold. Kristen Ritter, Jessica Jones. We want to just at least be thoughtful with the limited time that we have, but be thoughtful with why they're here and why they're returning and where they've been, and establish them in the context of this world. When you've got 8 episodes per season, you run out of real estate really fast, in terms of all the different people. we would love to do stories with, and both Santa and I are diehard JJ fans from way back. Pushed on when fans can expect to see, the heroes for hire. That's not really up to me. Jessica's with us because Jessica's awesome, and you'll see in this story what that means. Did I dodge that good enough? Okay. He did, but Mike Coulter has strongly hinted that he's discussing returning as Power Man with Marvel Studios. Today, the Cosmic Circus' Alex Perez, kind of iffy, but that's fine, has shared a huge hint about Daredevil Born Again Season 2. In a cryptic expose, he wrote Christmas came home early after issuing followers a spoiler warning. The implication seems to be that Luke Cage will return for, or at least be referenced in the Disney Plus series when it returns to our screens next week. So, yeah, we'll see if ya boy Luke Cage is returning. My guess is I'm still going off of what I was saying before with Spider-Man, and that's, he's going to be seen in the last 5 seconds, and he's going to be the new mayor of New York after they deal with Kingpin. That's my guess. That is my guess. That's what I'm going with. That's what I'm sticking with. There we go. Anyway.
Yeah. By the way, her last name I think is Sana Amanat. I think is how it's pronounced.
Amanat?
That's like
Okay.
it's like a Persian, Arabic, Urdu word for like when you place something as somebody's trust. It's like if I use it in a sentence, it would be like, please keep this watch as an amanat until I return. So like just to keep safeguard my something anyway, something or
Anywho.
someone kind of thing. But cool name. I just wanted to call that out.
But then it says here, Daredevil Born Again reveals Avengers character is key to street level MCU. And that's what Dario Escartapane was saying in regards to all of this. Obviously, we're talking about Kristen Ritter and that. So building Mr. Charles as someone in the Val world, aka Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. We wanted to make that connection, so that's why that's on the other end of the phone call. For me personally, away from everything MCU, I would love her to be part of our world. There's a story in the back of my head I would love to tell you, but I don't know. Those choices aren't mine. Yeah, it's always nice to have that connective tissue, because you never know. So yes, as fans, we would love it. So it seems like, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine is gonna have a bigger role. I mean, we kind of suspected.
Well, I don't know if she's gonna be in the show.
She's not gonna be in the show. It's just like they're kind of teasing, like, okay,
but Charles is connected to her,
be more,
which is
bigger.
Yeah. I like the connection now to the big screen MCU to the TV world, where clearly she's the one pulling, because she's meant to be the director of CIA in this, right? In the MCU right now. So, Michael, we were all happy to see the hand. And by the way, we just finished talking about the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. Like, be kind of rewind, but yeah, the hand was a fun part of that trailer. But I mean, Daredevil Born Again. I love that Matthew Lillard is having fun back in the well, not back, but like now in the MCU, and I like the connection to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character, because we know her presence will be felt in these upcoming Avengers movies, and so that's a good way to bring some connective tissue to the street level MCU that more directly ties together Daredevil into the larger world of the Avengers and whatnot, which is something the Netflix show never quite had. But I appreciate that they now have that connective tissue, and it's more explicitly being mentioned and talked about, and I'm sure play out in the movie or the TV show. I wouldn't put it past Marvel to give us a Valentina cameo in the show. That would be epic. Like, even if it's just a phone call, or like the voice of Julia Louis-Dreyfus, or on a FaceTime call or something like that. That would be great. But yeah, let's keep going.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah. Well, I think this takes place after Thunderbolts, because we talked about the continuity of like Wilson Fisk as mayor. I don't think they need to address it, but like, yeah. But why the black suit, John? Why the black suit?
So, Charlie Cox said this to say, thematically, I think it represents a much darker side to the character. Duh. But darker in the sense that he's unable to present himself to the world in the way that he has in the past. He's unable to be a symbol. Well, he is able to be a symbol, but he needs to go back to his roots of hiding in the shadows. He's being hunted. Him and Karen Page are being hunted more than they've ever been hunted before. They're in more danger than they've ever been, I think. They probably stay in their safe house most of the day and only come out at night. They're just trying to survive. So, yeah, I mean that makes sense.
That's why Batman wears black.
you know,
Does that mean Daredevil is the night? That Daredevil is vengeance?
I am the night.
Let's not go too far with that. Yeah, too much
Anyway.
hunting going on.
But
Batman is the hunter. That's the difference. Batman would be doing the hunting, not being the
Okay.
hunted.
But that's it for MCU Weekly, guys. So the ride's not over yet in regards to superhero stuff. Obviously, we'll talk about DC stuff later. But now we're moving on to MovieTalk Madness and the last wisps of superhero stuff before we get into DCU Daily, and that is all superhero projects coming out in the year of our Lord 2026.
We're eating good right now, man. We're eating good this
And,
year.
Yeah, well, good, bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
And the ugly.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll see. But Invincible, we kind of forgot about that, but Invincible is now streaming season 3, 4. I don't know where it is yet, but I think it's season 4 right now. I don't remember. But you have that. Daredevil Born Again coming in less than a week. 6 days, soon to be 5. Then
That's
you
an
have
epic poster too.
The Boys. You got that coming
Yeah.
out this week. Ah!
Final season.
Cinema.
Spider Noir.
Cinema.
Mm.
No, fuck The Boys.
Gotta be-
Cinema.
This might be the best superhero show of the year.
This might be the best superhero
potentially.
thing we get all year, possibly, if Clayface really shits the bed. That is, but yeah. Hell yeah, can't fucking wait for this. Then you have Supergirl, yay,
Excited.
kinda sorta. Then you have
Excited.
Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Ooh, 9 out of 10 trailer.
Oh, get out of here, get out of here. Then you have X-Men 97. I forgot that this was coming
Season
out. We'll
2.
see if
Coming out
this
summer
lives up to the
2026.
first season of the show without Bo DeMayo, even though he's an asshole. Then you have Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Again, Spider-Man fans, they're eating fucking good, bruh. They're eating good, bruh. You got Spider Noir, you got Spider-Man Brand New Day, and you got Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. They are eating fucking good, and I can't wait for all 3. Spider-Man fans.
By the way,
unite.
the
Ew,
stories of the
lanterns.
two, the show and the movie are now going to be even more divergent than ever before, right?
Yep.
Even though they don't connect, but remember the origin of the TV show is meant to be more of a what if scenario with Spider-Man, from Homecoming onward. But now it's kind of like a Krypton versus, Man of Steel situation. It sort of started to try to connect the two things, and then Krypton just went in its own direction. So that was interesting to me, but yeah.
But Lanterns, gross. Clayface, fucking hell yeah. Punisher, hell yeah. Can't wait for that. Then you have Vision Quest, which I'm curious about because Terry Metalis might actually give us good shit. And then finally Avengers Doomsday. Hell yeah. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not seeing it.
I'm gonna see it. I mean, that's gonna be the
No.
biggest project. That's gonna be the highest grossing movie of the year. It seems. I highly doubt that will not be the highest grossing movie of the year. The Punisher special sounds epic. By the way, thank you, Tony, for tuning in. Thank you so much for sticking around. And I'm sure you'll watch back the rest of the show later. But yeah, have a good rest of your night, and we hope you get some rest tonight. The Punisher special, John. Like I said, John Bernthal is going to be all over the MCU this year. He's going to be in as many as 3, possibly more projects if he has some surprise appearances in like the Avengers movie or wherever else he might show up. So I'm excited about that. But Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday, that's what a way to end the year after we start off with, things like Spider-Man Brand New Day, Spider Noir, obviously Supergirl. Holy cow. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. Isn't that the next thing up after Daredevil Born Again? What's the timeline? I think this is in the order of release, right?
Okay. So this is coming out in fall. So like in terms of like the next Marvel thing on TV that's coming out after Daredevil is gonna be X-Men 97, then Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. But in terms of canon, it's gonna be Punisher.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because that's technically on TV, quote unquote. So yeah.
Oh, by the way, John, I don't think you held it long enough on Vision Quest. Holy cow, Vision Quest might actually. You know what? Vision Quest might be the best superhero thing of the year because it's got one of the best showrunners in the business, Terry Metalis, and I mean, let's not forget.
He made Star Trek Picard good, guys. That's no small feat. You know?
I mean, look, I was gonna say Paul Bettany is one of the best actors working today, and I feel like he's gonna for the first time get to dig into this character in a way as like the lead of a show that
What
he's
is
really
grief,
never
but
truly
not
done
love
before.
persevering. Anyway.
So yeah. Anyway, is the Punisher
What is a
special
cow but
set...
not beef persevering? Anyway.
Is the Punisher special set before the Spider-Man movie? Because it will
I don't
probably come
know.
out before, right? Like that's a good
I
question.
don't
Actually.
know. I think Punisher's just kind of doing his own thing.
Yeah. I mean, the Watcher is all in on everything, but you know what? I think a lot of us are. So, good on you, man. I think a lot
So
of us are
so it's
watching a lot of
set
these
to
shows,
be
movies.
released in mid 2026. That's the closest we have for the Punisher.
But I mean, July 31st is like the 7th month of the year, so I mean, by that measure, you'd imagine the Punisher special comes out before Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
John, question for figure drawing: if Brand New Day is sick, would you be compelled to watch Doomsday? If indeed Spider-Man is in there.
No, because I'm a Spider-Man fan. I don't give a fuck about. Hell, I don't like most of the Avengers movies. The only one I really love is Age of Ultron, and that's it. Like the first Avengers, I've made my peace with. I respect it. I don't love it. It's fine, but I don't love it. And then I hate the other two movies. So like, I don't even like most of the Avengers movies. So why would I fucking go see it? Even if like I was still perpetually watching most Marvel projects, I probably still wouldn't see it because I just don't care about the Avengers movies. They all suck to me except for Age of Ultron. So like, why?
All
just
right.
saying.
I mean, I hope Tobey Maguire's in Doomsday.
Plus, like for Deadpool and Wolverine, I'll just catch all the like best parts online, like with I'm about to make a name for myself and Human Torch and all that shit. So
there's only ever gonna be one Blade. It's like
yeah, like all the memes. It's the best part about the movie because God knows it doesn't have a real plot because it's all just nostalgia bait and all the nostalgia bait got.
Why is Thor crying
online.
though? Like that question, I need an answer to.
Is who's your dialect coach? The Minions? Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, figure drawings. I mean, I think a lot of us are excited about Doomsday.
Y'all got plot. No, we got spectacle.
Okay, let's keep going because we got other movie news. Let's move past
Now
the
we
superhero
have
part for a moment.
stuff to like actual cinema, and that's The Exorcist.
Speaking of, there's Black Widow. Oh, we can't even escape the superhero stuff here.
But
The Exorcist.
They're like, call in Mike. Get him in here now.
Mike
We're gonna
Flanagan.
get cinema with The Exorcist once again. But we got some set photos, mainly of like Scarlett Johansson walking around. We got some stuff with, I think, this Chiwetel Ejiofor. We got Rahul Kohli there. Sasha Calle's there. I'll click on them after we go through them here. But we got a little bit more here of all these characters, and then we do have a bit of, Mike Flanagan being like day one. Here we go. So very, very exciting as a Mike Flanagan fan and as, a horror fan. This is very exciting. So this is just awesome to see. So yeah, we got Scarlett Johansson here. We have Rahul Kohli, Scarlett Johansson, Chiwetel Ejiofor. Sasha Calle's there. Looks like she's going to be playing a police officer of some kind. And then we have all four characters right here. And then some alternate shots of the same characters as well. I gotta say, Rahul Kohli's really nailing the salt and pepper look. Not gonna lie,
dude,
my man.
I am so jealous.
My man here, I think you rock it fine, Dan. Don't sell yourself short. But Rahul Kohli,
it's
man,
not too
like
bad.
he's rocking it. Like he looks.
Maybe
good.
I need to grow it out more. Maybe because I do got more grays on the side. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is really interesting. I'm very curious on what this movie is going to be. Because who knows? I mean, obviously there's going to be a possession, but
somebody's going to get possessed.
But yeah, so it seems like most of the characters are cops here. Sasha Calle, Rahul Kohli. We're not sure about Chiwetel Ejiofor and Scarlett Johansson. It's unlikely that they are. But yeah, this is This is awesome. Like,
I mean, you know
I'm
what
not
is
like
great?
I'm not like the biggest Exorcist fan. The first one's overrated. The second one I've never seen because it's garbage. I love the
Yeah.
third movie. I haven't seen either version of the prequel, the Paul Schrader version or the Rennie Harlan version, and the David Gordon Green movie was garbage. But I have heard the TV show is good. But yeah, like it's Mike Flanagan. I'm gonna be there day one. Come on now.
I will say this though, the odds are definitely in their favor because when you got a Supergirl and you got Mordo and then of course you got a Russian assassin,
Exorcist 3 too. Exorcist 3
I think they'll be
really
fine.
fucking good. Come on now.
I think they'll be fine. I mean, they got a Russian assassin, a Kryptonian, and a straight up wizard in this movie, so they'll do just fine against poor poor.
Yes, there we go. We got Caleb being positive about something. Yes, and I agree. Exorcist 3 is a masterpiece. It is way better than the original. There, we said it. Yeah, I've heard the TV, although it got unceremoniously canceled, so I never had the urge to watch it. So, because I'm like, it probably ends on a fucking cliffhanger or some shit.
Thank you, Figure Drawing. I try. It is what it is.
But going back to shithouse Disney crap, we have Lilo and Stitch 2. It's like, okay, in what?
But this was always happening.
Okay, we don't get a sequel, like a proper sequel, not in like TV movies and TV shows. We don't get a proper sequel to the actually good animated movie, but we do get a fucking sequel to this garbage. Like, life ain't fair, man. Life ain't fair. Like, I will say though, that TV show, fucking excellent. Like, I loved watching that as a kid, but like, goddamn, bro, it's just not fair. It's just not fair.
Well, look, Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO of Disney, was doing the shareholder conference call for the first time as the CEO, and he announced that we're going to be getting, Lilo and Stitch 2 and Incredibles 3 were already greenlit before he even signed up as the CEO. So
right.
Lilo and Stitch 2 will come out. They just gave it release date, both movies release dates, May 26, 2028. So Lilo and Stitch 2, and then
The Incredibles will follow June 16th, 2028. So
it's gonna be a summer of Disney animation, Disney Pixar animation. So yeah, wow.
So we have 14 years since the first one, and then 10 years since Incredibles 2. Jesus.
Yeah, Bob Iger has officially stepped down, and now it's Josh D'Amaro's Josh D'Amaro's Disney, ESPN being a part of that. But anyway. I want to see the third Incredibles movie because I thought the second one was kind of underwhelming.
Like, I'm curious how they'll do without Brad Bird. I don't hate the second one like a lot of other people do. I liked it. Dude, I thought it was very good.
I loved the live action Lilo and Stitch. I think that movie sold billions in merchandise and made a $1 billion at the box office. The sequel will do that and so much more. So but the Incredibles, I'm glad that there's not as big of a gap between the second and third one as there was between the first and the second. So yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a big summer in 2028 for Disney movies. Also, like next year, you got the Legend of Zelda movie coming out, which is not animated. Then you got the Godzilla times the next Godzilla Kong movie. And by the time we get to 2028, we on the DC side of things have a dynamic duo film coming out. So it will be a big year for animation. I think there might be even another Shrek movie planned for that year, whether it's a spin-off or like the sequel to the one that comes out next year or whatever it is, whenever they're actually releasing it now. So 2028 it will be a big year for animation and big family movies in the summer months, because I mean, like this year, Toy Story 5, the next Minions movie. Summertime is movie going time for the kids, for the teens and for the tweens and for the parents, and that is the perfect time for all the family movies to be playing in theaters, such as Fast Forever, which will also be coming out in 2020.
Your brother never told you never threaten a man's family?
And on that note, we shall move on with more Movie Talk Madness.
Yes. Next up is apparently Michaela Cole or Michaela Cole. I think that's Michaela Cole to remake the Jean-Claude Van Damme film Bloodsport.
Ooh.
Because we were really clamoring for a remake of Bloodsport.
Dude, I saw this and this was like the most out of left field, hit me in the face with a roundhouse kick headline of the day. Michaela Cole, remaking Jean-Claude Bloodsport. I mean, okay, but the thing is, like, Bloodsport was one of those movies that just worked because it was,
It was
Jean-Claude
Jean-Claude
Van
Van
Damme.
Damme. That's
It
why
was
we went to
Jean-Claude
go
Van
see it.
Damme. Like,
So
if
unless
it's not
we, like,
JCVD, then
cast-
who's gonna be in the role? Like,
unless we cast like another popular
yeah.
martial artist, I can't imagine that. Unless this
But I
is like
can't
Louis
think of
Tan or
somebody
something, but,
who's
like,
got like that cultural,
Yeah.
that cultural, I don't know, like credibility. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's also a cult classic from the 80s. It's like some things should just be left alone. But then again, we live in a world where they're doing another Rambo
break
prequel,
you
and then they're
like I
also
break your friend.
doing a Rocky. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they cast a charismatic actor, but it's also about like who can do the work. Like, you gotta be good with martial arts, because that's literally part of the appeal.
Yes.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, say that 20 times in a row. JCVD. It's just, yeah.
But
I
it's
do hope we get more
A24, so
aliens
it
in
might be good.
Stitch
Who
2 as well.
knows?
Yeah.
But
Well, A24
next
has made
up,
a concerted effort to make more mainstream movies, and this is clearly part of that. So, I mean, their consistency with quality will probably vary more now they're doing more stuff like this.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Let's talk about Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So Sophie Turner's speaking of Jean Grey, Lara Croft blasts her dual pistols, and that's not a euphemism, in latest set photos and videos. But we do get a little bit right here.
Thank you for the clarification on that.
But yeah, just Sophie Turner looking cool here, shooting up stuff.
I'll watch Sophie Turner shooting a dual pistols.
I mean, will it be good? Probably not, but like, hey, it's something, I guess.
Yeah, at least they're not doing like fake. I mean, it seems, are those lights, or are those like I don't know if they're gonna do like fake muzzle flashes, or if those are live rounds, or probably not live rounds, but like, movie rounds. So
those are
lights.
like, I'm pretty sure they're
Those are
fake
just
muzzle
lights.
flashes, but like,
yeah, those are just
I'll
lights,
give them
like
that,
LED
like,
lights. So they'll add in the muzzle flashes in post, which is like a thing unto itself. Like, they don't really get them right.
Which
in
I'm
those
not
situations.
a huge fan of, but like, at least it's a little bit better than fully digital. It's just like, it seems like they're enhancing it.
It's also,
but I
that
still
costume she's got on looks very close to the Angelina Jolie version from the early 2000s. Not this,
Yeah.
but like the one in the video. So I'm excited. Where is this gonna be on Amazon? Where is this gonna go?
I don't fucking remember.
I mean, somebody in the chat, is this I forget. I think this was an Amazon thing. wasn't it?
Amazon. Yep, Amazon.
Okay, Amazon Prime. I think this kind of fits right in that mold of like, doing all these Jack Ryan things. I mean, this obviously will be a little
Wait,
more elevated
was this a
field.
movie or a TV show?
This is a
Fuck,
TV show. It's a TV show.
Well, I was a little bit early on, the whole. There we go. Much better.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, like
I couldn't.
okay, so
I thought it was a movie. My bad. I put it in the wrong.
it's all no, it's all good.
spot.
It's all
But,
good. But
yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing this. The early indications are good. I mean, look, Sophie Turner is gonna. She's not entirely convincing as an actor. She had like a show recently that she was on. I think Fiona was watching it. I don't know. I think it's like a Netflix show maybe. That I watched the trailer and I was actually quite intrigued by it. I want to check that out. And maybe like that might convince me more that she's improved as an actress. But then again, you know what? In Tomb Raider, you're not gonna have to be like the best actor in the world to pull that role off. Quite honestly, I don't think she needs to be the greatest thespian, working in the business today to pull off that character. So, yeah, and I think Sophie Turner could do a good job. I mean, she's got the look, and just wait for the show to come out. Who knows? She might prove us all wrong. But yeah, let us know what you think about all of that TV talk, movie talk, TV madness, and terror. So what do you want to do? Do we want to talk Project Hail Mary now, or do you want to do all the TV stuff and then talk Project Hail Mary?
No, we'll just go back to.
We'll just switch back.
Madness,
Okay,
and
let's
then
talk about Project Hail Mary. There's some
let's
cool
talk
shit
about
out
Project Hail
there.
Mary.
Yes, let's talk about probably the best movie of the year so far. Holy cow.
So Ryan Gosling felt so alone on Project Hail Mary that he proposed a radical directing method, and this probably could have saved them with Solo, but obviously we'll talk about it. But Ryan Gosling was saying this in regards to, when he was filming alone in the actual ship, which was
Yeah.
which
These
was
big
actual practical effects, by
Yeah.
the way. It was a
Yeah.
real set. So
I mean, it wasn't like there were multiple sets. Like, it's not that they built
yeah,
the
it wasn't
exterior
just
of the
one big
ship
set, but you
all
know
of
what I
it,
mean.
but
It was
like,
an
yes.
actual, like,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ship
yeah.
was like actual
Yeah.
sets.
Mhm.
So he did this. So he and his co-star Sandra Hüller both tell Polygon they used a unique way of working with actors for improvised sequences, having them wear earpieces so Lord and Miller could quietly give them private notes on different options to try mid-scene. It was a request from Ryan to begin with. He is often in scenes by himself, so he asked us if
Bless
we
you.
could be in his ear and offer suggestions and pitches, just so he wasn't doing the scenes alone. The other thing is, we always like to offer suggestions and provocations in the middle of a take, and it's so much more pleasant than yelling it across the soundstage. Looking at you, James Gunn. We can whisper it. The other advantage of it is the other actor doesn't know what's coming. We could suggest something to Sandra, like, be like, ask him about, he seems kind of insecure right now, and he will get thrown, and that'll be a real reaction, and vice versa. Miller
Mm.
says they use a similar method with James Ortiz, the voice and on-set puppeteer behind Rocky, the alien. We had a microphone to his ear, like, okay, say this to Ryan, let's see what he does. And whatever you
Yeah.
do, whenever he sees you to
It's
not do anything with a measuring tape, do it anyway.
If
Anybody
you
who's
guys have
seen
seen the movie,
knows what that scene is about.
yes,
Then we could
it's
go to Ryan and be like,
amazing.
Ryan, just keep making him do the measuring tape, right? No matter what he does, make sure he looks at the numbers on the measured so
Which
you
is
get to play
which
these
is very
games.
different from like the methodical approach to that whole figuring out a common language that Denis Villeneuve did in The Arrival. You could see like how they break down that language barrier between what they did with a movie like The Arrival and what they do in this movie, which I thought was like thoroughly refreshing, and yet it was believable. So I really enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, John, like, Lord Christopher Miller obviously did a great job with this movie. I think you and I just kind of glazed this movie for like the better part of an hour yesterday or 2 days ago now. And I'm gonna
Oh, sorry.
I need to go see this movie again. And holy cow, I haven't wanted to run back into the movie theater to watch a movie like right away a second time in a very long time. Uh, I'm not watching the live action One Piece. I know Fiona is, but
Neither
I
am
think she's
I.
still
No, I have no
behind.
interest.
So she'll be catching up to the next season soon, hopefully. But
This is for you,
but
Caleb.
yeah.
I made a meme a
Yeah.
couple days ago, so
And by the way, Ryan
hope you
Gosling
appreciate.
suggesting this, is speaking of the whole acting alone, because it was basically him a lot of the time by himself, and then sometimes it was the actor who was puppeteering and voicing Rocky. Uh, so they were able to kind of play off each other. It could be very lonely because actors act off each other, and Gosling is an actor who really, he's a very reactive actor, as Phil Lord was talking about. So he needs somebody to bounce off of, and this movie had some of the best, like, what felt like improvised humor and those little bits and moments, and the dialogue, a lot of it felt improvised because it was improvised, as we now know, in all the best ways. It just made for something more believable. Like, I thought those moments when like Rocky and Grace are working together were some of the most entertaining bits of the movie. And
Yeah.
it's just,
I mean, that
it's
it
done
had to
so
be because
well.
that it relied heavily on
It
them. Because while there were
absolutely it did.
flashbacks, it wasn't
Yeah.
like just that. So
Yes. Amaze. It's
Yeah.
it's so good. It's
Jazz
so
hands.
good. Oh god, this movie put such a big smile on my face. I'm still, wearing that same smile. And Ryan Gosling asking for that change, I think, is also probably now a tool in the tool belt of Lord and Miller moving forward as directors on other projects. Like you said, even Solo could have used that approach. But it seems something simple because, like, look, nowadays with the VFX, like, if you got the budget, even if it is a earpiece you can see, you can easily fix that, and nobody will realize that there was a earpiece that you're wearing. Because you can have an earpiece that basically is translucent or matches your skin tone. In most sequences, you're not going to notice it anyway. They can make them small enough to be completely invisible, but also, if you do see it, it's an easy VFX fix which would become an invisible VFX element. Nobody realizes there was something there to begin with, because it's not like we're looking for an earpiece for somebody to have, unless they're like the Avengers and they're constantly like doing one of these and they actually don't have earpieces on. So I think it's a great technique, a great tool, and another reason why this movie worked really, really well. think I just it's a great part of the process that I didn't realize that was what they did, and it's certainly different than James Gunn being on a microphone, but in the video village yelling at David Corns who had to do it differently. It's a very different kind of approach. I bet you this set was probably a lot quieter between takes when they did this. So, but yeah, I mean, hope you guys go to see this movie. Blown away by it. But John, you know what? The marketing around this movie has also been fantastic. They did the world premiere now a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago in London, and they even brought a Rocky, a little android version of Rocky, I guess, to the red carpet. That looks CGI. Maybe?
I think it's CGI.
Yeah, but this is so
shocked
cool.
if they like brought like a
one that
version.
actually was like a puppet version. Yeah. Oh, it's so cool. I'm like, why didn't they have this at the Oscars? If this was basically before the Oscars happened. Well, Amazon should have paid a bit of money to have like a promotional stunt at the Oscars.
Instead of fucking Grogu.
Yeah. Or like have him next to Grogu, maybe next year. I don't know. Dude, Rocky was such a great character. He's probably one of my favorite new sci-fi characters like of all time. Yeah. Must protect because like is he not wearing his space suit because like where's the ammonia? Like it's I just love this stuff. I particularly love the Ryan Reynolds absolute cinema meme that somebody put Ryan Gosling. God, I gotta get my Ryans right. Absolute cinema. I want that. I want that Photoshop. Ryan Gosling. Chopper better than Grogu. Are you talking about Chappie? Who's Chopper? I don't know who Chopper is, but Grogu was cool at the Oscars.
One Piece. It's from One Piece. Chopper.
Oh, that Chopper. Never mind. Sorry, mine in the wrong place. Okay. I did love Grogu at the Oscars. I would have liked to have seen Rocky sitting right next to him. And then maybe, Chopper is entirely animated, so I don't think that really counts in the Netflix show. But maybe they could have had a Chappie, because I know they built a version of Chappie for that movie that was sort of live action. But
anyway, let's move on to the final thing. And Ryan Gosling was on BBC talking about getting the 560-page manuscript. And he's like, this is probably the most ambitious thing I've ever read, probably will ever make. And he's like, well, alrighty then, let's go.
But you know what the best part about this was? He mentioned that he wanted to make something that was this uplifting sci-fi movie, something that he made for his kids, and I love that perspective on things. He's like, I want my kids to be able to watch me in something that feels optimistic, forward-looking. And I'm like, you know what? I have just my appreciation and respect for Ryan Gosling as an actor and as a father just went up tenfold the way he talked about this, because clearly it's one of those moments where he's not just doing this movie because it's a great opportunity, but also he has some personal stakes in this. Like he feels like this is a movie that his kids will really enjoy watching him in, and I love seeing that. And so that was really heartwarming to me to see that. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Gosling, he's literally me. He's just Ken, and he's
just Ken. Anywhere else he'd be a 10.
Well, you're a 10 in our book, Ryan. You're definitely a 10 in our book. Speaking of perfect 10s, McKenna Grace in the upcoming live-action Scooby-Doo show, because we're now moving on to TVTalk Terror properly. Again, sorry. But we officially got our group of actual teenagers instead of like 40-year-olds. That are supposed to be teenagers, but we knew McKenna Grace for a while that she was going to be Daphne, but now we have the rest of the crew. We have Tanner Hagen, who's going to play Shaggy, Abby Ryder Fortson, who's going to be playing Velma, and then Maxwell Jenkins, who was in Lost in Space. He was the, Will Robinson. He was that, and he is going to be playing Fred. And honestly, guys, I think the days of Sabrina and Riverdale are behind us, because they might be cooking with this cast. They might be cooking.
You're not wrong.
As long as we don't get some modern deconstructionist edgy bullshit, we might be getting some good food for the future. Netflix might actually be winning. And then they're just going to be like, hey, WB, look who's winning now. Meanwhile, your boy is trying to like close down fucking CNN over there by making it his own thing.
Allegedly, they haven't really done that yet. But, I guess we'll see.
Oh, thank God, David Ellison's taking
if you
that
heard the
over, right,
Secretary
Dan?
of War, if you were his comments were to be believed, then maybe I don't know. Like I'm not gonna get into that. We're talking about Scooby Doo. This cast.
We're talking about Scooby Doo.
Yes.
Anyway. But this looks good. I mean, they look like their characters. I mean, even without like makeup. I mean, I guess like all of these kids are, well, they're kids to me. They're younger than me. But like, I would guess like just by looking at them without makeup, without costuming, without anything, I'd be like, yeah, that's Shaggy, that's Velma, that's Fred, that's Daphne. Like just by looking at this with no context, like Scooby Doo, who would you think? And I'd be like 100% these guys. They already looked the part. That's great. Love to see it. And apparently my friend posted about these. He's like, honestly, this looks really good. And somebody commented, I don't know who this person was. It was their friend, so I don't know. They're like, oh yeah, I recently produced something with Abby Ryder Fortson, and they're like, she's perfect for the role. So I'm like, okay, if you're to be believed, that's definitely interesting. But like, I mean, McKenna Grace has been like, you could see the people, for the people who follow her on Letterboxd, like myself, she has been like just running the gamut on Scooby-Doo stuff. So that's pretty awesome as well. So she's doing the research. And not saying Purple looks stupid and is not gonna be the character at all. And it's gonna actually, guys, it's actually gonna be True Detective, but with Scooby-Doo characters. They finally revealed it, guys. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Anyway, but yeah, this cast looks good. Like, I'm honestly, this looks good. You know. It is like, obviously it would be a modern reimagining because, you know, it's literally in the modern day. Obviously, like, yes, it's gonna take place in 2026, 2027, whenever this comes out. And then, because obviously they're not gonna have like 1969 period piece stuff, although that would be interesting. But yeah, this looks great. Like, honestly, like, I might actually watch this now. And also, by the way, just want to say this before we fully move on is fuck Mindy Kaling.
Yeah, that was this is, you know, a hit and an absolute miss. Or swing and an absolute miss. I can't wait for this version of the show, and I'm glad that Netflix is giving this a shot. So I like the live action Scooby-Doo movies quite a bit. Freddie Prinze Jr., you know, Sarah Michelle Gellar. Loved it. Oh no.
The only reason he got cast was because his name was Fred. That's the only reason Freddie Prinze Jr.
Dude, James Gunn wrote one of those movies though. Come on,
he wrote both
of those movies.
He wrote Monsters Unleashed and the first one. So
yeah, come on, guys. We are, you know, James Gunn stans in this household.
Anyway, speaking of, you know, not being James Gunn stans, is the Academy, because they didn't nominate Superman, and guess what? They took a hit. It's been the lowest since 2022. So get fucked.
Well, I mean, the predictions were between 18 and 20, and they just came in under under 18 million, 9% down from last year. It's unfortunate that it's the lowest since 2022 because I felt like this year was pretty competitive. I'm trying to protect, you know, cat butt from anyone's camera here. But I mean, I'm not entirely surprised because the Oscars viewership is also like, you know, I think once it's on YouTube, their viewership metrics will be completely different. But while they're still on ABC, because I don't know how much this accounts for like the Hulu viewing. I don't think it's a big chunk of it anyway. But yeah, I don't think Sinners winning would have changed much because that happens towards the end of the night. So I don't think all of a sudden an extra 5 million people would tune in that it would skew the rating that much higher. But yeah, look, I thought it was a decent Oscars event this year. They only ran like 5 minutes over. I mean, at the expense of some awkward, you know, playing winners off stage and cutting them off, but you know, it's a live show and they're never going to be perfect. To be fair, 17.9 million viewers in today's world is still a pretty good number. It's just by Oscar standards. I mean, 2022, 9% down year over year is not a huge drop, but you would like to see an improvement rather than a drop. But anyway, let's talk about. I think this is really something.
Yeah, because I mean
Good,
Robert
like
Kirkman,
important.
very intelligent.
Robert
So
Kirkman, I think, hit the nail on the head, and also what he said here is exactly, I think, what James Gunn has mentioned before in his own words. And so the fact that James Gunn is very much aware of this, I think Kevin Feige to a certain degree is as well, and I think this is what you and I have also talked about before. But yeah, go ahead and kind of like walk through what Robert Kirkman said. We can then talk about it a bit more.
um
Yeah.
but so he had this to say with a interview with Game Radar Plus. I think that superhero storytelling was so novel when the MCU started. There was such a different feel to all that stuff that it was special in and of itself. And just seeing Iron Man existing and seeing Thor and Captain America together, everything was so new and exciting that it fed that machine for so very long. I think that we're not necessarily seeing superhero fatigue in general. I think it's just that the audience has gotten used to it. And so now the audience is very much like, well, what have you done for me lately? And I think that is kind of the mode that we're in right now. If you're going to do a big superhero thing, it has to be special, it has to be unique, and it has to add something. Just being a really good superhero thing is not going to cut the mustard, because if we want a really good superhero thing, we have almost 100 options. So I think that's what we're experiencing now. And I think that as we're seeing the landscape changing, everything that's working now brings some kind of new element to it that's novel and unique and exciting and different. And I think there's no diminished hunger for superhero material. It's just that the audience is, I think, a little bit more discerning. Why? Because there are plenty of superhero things that people like Invincible. This say like on the surface, it's like, oh, it's more violent. That kind of brought people in a little bit, but then it was like it was dealing with things and ideas that you couldn't really do in a mainstream big budget blockbuster because it's animated. You could do, and especially with traditional animation, because I feel like you could get away with even more traditional animation than even 3D animation. Like, not diminishing like the Spider-Verse movies or anything like that, but like I feel like even more traditional animation, you could do a lot more with that. And the writing is really good, and it's just like it has these elements that differentiate it from other like it's adult, but it's animation. So it's like, okay, say we will, but the Spider-Verse movies, those are meant for all ages. This is meant for adults, teens to adults mainly. But I think that's what he's talking about. And then you also have Dispatch. Look at Dispatch. That fucking, was huge. Everybody was talking about Dispatch when those episodes were coming out, because it was it took the thing that a lot of people liked about Telltale, and they made it for, a game, and it's superhero based, and a lot of people loved it. And again, it was more adult. It treated you like an adult. And the thing is, say what you will about Marvel and DC, it is for all ages. Even with like, the Zack Snyder stuff, it was still like you still had that all ages thing in mind. And I think having more adult stuff could work here, or doing this or doing that, or what I was trying to say when all those projects were announced way back in 2023 with DC. It's like that could have been a good idea of like, you're getting this demographic, you're getting this demographic, you're getting this demographic. Try to do that, like at least with like Clayface. Okay, Clayface, you're getting the horror crowd. Lanterns, you're getting the HBO murder mystery neo-western crowd. And then Supergirl, you're getting, the female crowd, which, say what you will, usually doesn't go to superhero movies as much as men, which I'm not saying like not saying women can't be superhero fans, blah blah blah. That's a bullshit thing, and it's always been a bullshit thing. But seeing yourself on the big screen, a woman, that helps, and they want to go see that, like Wonder Woman, the Marvels, Captain Marvel, all that stuff. So you have that as well, and then you have like a cosmic adventure, which isn't totally new now with the Guardians, but it's still like the way they do it, of like this, trauma-ridden main character and all that. So there's that as well. So you do have different ideas there, and I feel like there is an attempt with James Gunn, like trying to do those new and unique things to bring in different audiences. And I do agree with that, because like none of this is new anymore. None of this feels new when you're doing so many characters, you're adapting so many characters. So it's like, okay, let's try to do this, let's try to do that. And I think Robert Kirkman made a very fine point of this in this article.
Yeah, because it just comes down to like, because ultimately, I mean, this concept also is not, a novel idea or concept to begin with, because the age of musicals came and went, and a lot of it was because the market got saturated. People got used to seeing musicals and like the structure they would follow, the kinds of stories they would tell. The rom-com was like big. I mean, even like, I grew up watching a lot of Bollywood rom-coms, but eventually the audience tires of it. And in some ways with like stuff like a rom-com or westerns, there's only so many directions you can go. I mean, with westerns, it's a little more open-ended. But like musicals, for example, right? And I mean, I think the Western movie never quite died out, but the Westerns had to evolve, and you had to do some more genre, mixing. But then you also had to go in different directions. Thank you, Michael, for joining us today. Hit the like button, please, and then of course we'll see you tomorrow. And best of luck to you the rest of the day, evening, or night, wherever you are. But yeah, I think what Robert Kirkman said, again, James Gunn is aware of this. Kevin Feige hopefully is aware of it as well. I say hopefully because I simply haven't seen him talk about it before. Thank you, Ron, as well, and we'll definitely see you next time. But it's a simple idea, that of course we've been watching superhero movies now as being the dominant genre in Hollywood for like a couple of decades. The biggest movies of the year are still the superhero movies, and they might not be the number one every year, but they're still like several of the biggest ones. And people are tired of seeing the same genre conventions. You can't just do a straight up run of the mill superhero origin story and expect people to be like, oh, that's great, because all it feels like, because ultimately all it is like literally giving us the same story with a different gimmick, like, oh, now it's Blue Beetle, before it was Iron Man. That's DC had that problem with a lot of their movies in 2023. They just felt like movies we have seen before. So, and thank you too as well, Michael. But these movies have to evolve, like the Watcher is saying, making a great point. And that next step could be comic accuracy. It could be just embracing the superhero genre more head on. You could still, however, do things that feel different and original in a way that doesn't lean into the comics as much. Because like the Batman, for example, doesn't lean into the comics very hard. It gives you a much more realistic, grounded version of the characters, and that works too. But they're doing it in a way that feels very different from what they did in the Dark Knight trilogy. And I mean, the MCU is taking some big swings now with introducing Doom, Doctor Doom and everything. So, and what they did with the Fantastic Four was exactly, what Robert Kirkman is talking about, which is, give us something original, give us something different, a retro 60s version of Fantastic Four that's not even on the same timeline as the mainline MCU. Very different, very unique. It leans into the comics, but it gives us something we have never seen before. I think the novelty of the superhero genre has worn off, but that's only going to mean that now you can't just make easy punts and expect those to be game-winning touchdowns. Like, you need, that's as a rugby reference, but like, you need to make a movie that gives the audiences something new to think about, to talk about, that they haven't seen before, that they haven't experienced before. And I think Robert Kirkman hit that nail on the head. And I'm glad that some of the people in charge of these storytelling, across DC and Marvel, they know this and they're aware of that. And I just, kind of like Robert Kirkman saying the quiet thing out loud, but this has been the case for a while. And I don't think superhero movies are going to go anywhere. It's just they'll have to change, evolve, and improve and move past, the simple idea of, oh, let's just do an origin story for this XYZ character. And we're starting to see that, the studios, the big studios in this genre are realizing that, and now have projects that will continue to kind of evolve with the genre and what the audience expects. Because yeah, like Robert Kirkman said, fans are just more discerning now because they've seen so many of these movies. They can almost like predict the rest of the plot by just watching the first act. So it's up to the filmmakers to go in different directions and surprise the audiences in novel ways that we haven't seen before. So I'm looking forward to that. But with that said, Anthony saying 2026 is going to be a good year for superhero movies and shows. Yeah, absolutely, man. We talked about the whole slate of superhero movies and TV shows just a few minutes ago on the show, and yeah, we're gonna be eating good this year. But speaking of eating good, John, let's get into those quick hits, shall we? Well, let's walk through some of those quick hits in a quick manner as we usually try.
But apparently they're talking about Bob Iger's legacy. Less a creative visionary, more of a savvy portfolio manager. Yep, Bob Iger's legacy will always be, hey, I can't create anything good of my own, so I'm just going to buy up other people's garbage and just show that out and Disneyify it, because fuck me, right? Eat a dick, Bob
Well,
Iger.
I mean, to be fair, like, yeah, I mean, while Mike Eisner, Frank Wells, like they're saying here from Jeff Crudy in the article on the Wrap, he's a Disney historian, Jeff is. He said Michael Eisner and Frank Wells took powerful but dormant assets and resources and revived, relaunched, or maximized them. In broad terms, I think you could say that with pure Disney as its foundation, Michael and Frank built up. And then if you go to the next slide, Jeff continued on to talk about Bob Iger's legacy, and he said, I think Bob might be remembered as someone who built out. His strategy reached beyond the core brand and looked toward assembling a portfolio, broadening the company's cultural assets and opportunities with brands that shared a kind of appealing timelessness. I think it's why Disney sits comfortably with Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel, Indiana Jones, and the Muppets. All true things, and you know what? That's also the reason why I think if Walt Disney was alive today, he wouldn't recognize the Disney company, the Walt Disney Company of today, that the one that he built up, because that was built on, like, you know, original IP, or certainly IP that was built through new iterations of classic folktales and whatnot. So Disney today feels very different. It's almost like, you know, the Apple comparison you can talk about, but like going from I'm forgetting, Steve Jobs to Tim Cook, and like what those two people that will have done. And I'm not saying that, you know, I think Apple is going in a pretty bad direction right now with what their product and services priorities are, and you know how they're not the innovator of that tech space anymore the way they used to be. But Disney was that too for Hollywood, you know, for a long time, and they're not now. They're a collection of franchises, a lot of franchises that had nothing to do with Disney until, you know, as recently as 10, 12 years ago. So but yeah, you know what, that's Bob Iger's legacy. Still a good legacy in the sense that he grew Disney to be a much larger company, the single biggest IP behemoth Hollywood has ever seen. But you know, he wasn't really a visionary in that sense. He kind of aggregated a lot of things. Yeah. And that's the legacy he leaves behind as he finally retires for the third time. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then here we have Misha Collins just being funny as always.
From St. Patrick's Day.
You know, a bird, a super fan, was found in his house, and you know, him just being cute.
I thought this was hilarious. Like, happy belated St. Patrick's Day to those who celebrated this week. But yeah. I've got a couple of birds in my house. I'm fostering right now. So.
But next up, then we have SNL stars Passive Press will build a fantasy episode in digital series The Rundown. Colin Jost is first up in the short form show. So it's essentially taking the best SNL skits and putting them in one episode, and like how great you can make it. So kind of a neat idea, I guess.
The Rundown, isn't that what we do before every show 5 days a week? I'm pretty sure that's what we do. Anyway, let's keep going.
I don't know if you'd watch this, but I'm not gonna watch this. Speaking of things I won't
still
watch,
don't understand what it is.
It's essentially just like, it's kind of like what they do is they set up the sketches for The Rundown, and then that's essentially what it is. But what they're doing is they're taking sketches like, you know, for instance, the Julia Child Dan Aykroyd sketch, but they're putting that with like Weekend Update by Norm Macdonald, like 2 different decades, but it's like those are like, it's like your job to make like the best episode possible of SNL with different sketches from like the decades that the show has been on, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
But this one is Zach Galifianakis is going to host a Netflix show about gardening. So if you like gardening and you like Zach Galifianakis, then give this a watch.
I think this is a fantastic idea. I think I know Fiona's mom would enjoy this. While she's waiting for the next Jeremy Clarkson's Farm season to debut. So, but yeah, I think this would be a good one to check out. So, yeah. Oh, you're muted. Oh, sorry.
Cross renewed for season 3 at Amazon Prime Video. Very nice. Very cool.
I haven't started season 2 yet, but season 3, the first season was great, and I'm excited there's a third season. It's kind of like Paradise. I get to watch the second season knowing there's a third one coming on the way. So, another good franchise on Amazon Prime Video.
And then next up, Hudson Williams among 6 to recur in Netflix's FTX series, The Altruists.
Ooh, Huddy,
I have no idea what this is.
I think Fiona's fallen asleep, but you know, she gifted a bunch of memberships earlier. I'm sure she would appreciate a Hudson Williams shout out, and a new TV show, The Altruists. I heard about The Altruists. This is, I mean, you know, a cryptocurrency related show.
Oh, fucking get this fucking out.
Thank you, MTG,
Jesus.
for that, by the way.
That's what why are Dune Part 3 and Avengers Doomsday opening in theaters on the same day? Well, Dune had it first. Avengers had to get delayed. They still wanted it to come out in 2026, so December was the last weekend. So one of the last weekends. So that's why. I don't know why there needed to be a whole article about that, but and neither of them are budgeted,
no, I think,
so to move. So
well, it's also they were pointing out how Barbenheimer. I mean, obviously this weekend is probably going to become one of the highest grossing box office weekends of all time, easily in the top 3. But there's a lot more overlap in the target demographics for these two movies than there was for Barbie and Oppenheimer, because Oppenheimer was clearly rated R, very adult movie aimed at adult audiences. Barbie was much more of a 4-quadrant movie, and especially leaned heavy on the female demographic. So whereas these two movies feel much more similar in their target demographic, obviously there's going to be hardcore Dune fans and a lot of hardcore Marvel fans going to see each of those films, but you got to wonder, like, it doesn't quite, you know, give you the programming narrative that Barbenheimer had. So, you know, will Doomsday work the same way? I don't know. I still think both movies will take some money away from each other, but generally speaking, middle of December, Christmas time, there's enough money at the box office that two big movies can do well. Aquaman, the same year Aquaman made $1 billion, there was like definitely 2 other like big movies out at the same time, including a Transformers movie. I think the Bumblebee one, or maybe I'm thinking of the wrong one, or a Jumanji movie. Like, they made money, so like there's enough money to go around. I just think that if one of them came out in May, like Doomsday, like it was supposed to, it could have made the same amount of money it's probably gonna make in December, and then Dune could have made more money. So you know what I mean? Like I just think like ultimately it could have been better if they didn't come out on the same day. But you know, that's the world we live in. Well, I guess that's not the world we live in. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people will go see both movies anyway, so that's fair. But yeah, this will be a rivalry that is truly gonna get heated.
It is very much going to get heated. Yeah. Now, the final thing we have is definitely a case of if Dan won the lottery, he wouldn't tell anybody, but there would be signs. And it's definitely, you know, this little thing right here, this old school thing we found. We just had to share 80s. It. This was just so fucking like.
I totally.
You know what this reminds me of? You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of that scene from The Simpsons where he's like, "I sleep in a race car bed. What do you sleep with?" "My loving wife." And it's just like, well, who's the real winner here? The guy sleeping in the Ace Maverick bed set. That's who.
Yes, this is so good. I also love, like, you can have like if you have a sleep apnea, you can just throw the mask on and it's just part of the vibe. Clearly this is Top Gun, you know, influence.
$400. Honestly, that's not too bad for a bed.
It's not bad. It's like cheaper than most beds that you could buy out there. You can even, I would even have a fake mustache I can put on, like, you know, so I can look like, was it Goose? Was it? Yeah. Talk to me, Goose. You know, but I want to wake up in the morning, so maybe I won't be Goose. Anyway.
Damn, bro. Damn. All right. Jesus.
That was dark.
Anyway. But yeah, that's it for our quick hits. Just so ridiculous. It has nothing to do with anything, but like, you know.
I love coming up with stuff like that. It's just so good. It's perfect for the quick hits. That's what quick hits are all about.
Yeah.
Man, I can't. I hope that still exists somewhere, because I would genuinely consider dropping $400 for it. I need to see, maybe a pawn shop might have it. But anyway, that's it for the news part of the show. That took long enough. But be sure to like, subscribe, get in the comments. The comments especially help us out with the YouTube algorithm. So definitely, even if you want to just say thank you, or we hate you guys, like, you know, even something simple like that, or just, you know, give us a star rating, like 3-star show, 1-star show. We love the comments, but we're not done yet. Why did you have to cook Goose like that? Well, I mean, his goose was cooked a long time ago. So anyway, it's not bad for kids. It's meant to be for an adult too, you know, like, I feel like I think that dude looked like an adult-sized dude to me. So,
and then you could tell the wife is just looking at him like, I can't wait till that divorce goes through.
Yeah. It certainly would cause some intimacy problems, I'm sure, for a couple if that were the case.
What, baby? You don't want to fuck in the Ace Maverick bed set? I'd like. I think many guys would jump at the chance to lose their virginity in that bed. Like, just like, I lost my virginity in this fucking thing. And then while Top Gun Maverick plays in the background, that would just be, that would just be Kino right there.
Yeah. It's that whole thing of if the candlelight is fire, then the meal was cooked a long time ago. I don't know how that ties into all of this, but I just wanted to put that out there in the world. I think that's a Stargate reference. But hey, you know what? We're getting into DCU Daily time. Hashtag blessed. Let's get
It's
it.
another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here. Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka, hunka.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to DCU Daily. Here we are. We're about to talk about all things DC. Got so many topics for you guys. Got a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of fun stuff. I know I'm excited to talk about, of course, anything except the Snyder Cut. Literally every other movie story except Snyder Cut. But I'm sure that's what Dan wants to talk about today.
Yeah, come on, Zacky Boo time. We got to talk about the 5-year anniversary of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I'll just wait to talk about it when the time comes. But I mean, there's also a bunch of other stuff. We got Supergirl conversations, the Batman Part 2, we got an update about that. And of course, we got some comics news proper. And then, hey, not only do we, have some what did Snyder say, but we're going to, have a return of the segment known as What Did the Gunn Say? So we will definitely, or what did Gunn say, not the Gunn say, but anyway, we'll get into all that and so much more. Hi, Caleb. Wow, Jalen.
Damn, Jalen, that's like 2 days in a row where you're like perfectly on time.
Yeah. I think he just hides in the chat until just about time when we get to DCU Daily. But anyway, hello. And then also Kingsport Cal. How are you doing? Zack's Justice League was 5 years ago. Yeah, 2021, man, 2026. It is wild. It was March 18th. I mean, on the East Coast now it's March 19th, but you know what? We'll count it because it's still March 18th in parts of the world. So, yeah, time ain't real. You're right. Well, you know what? Like we usually do, let's get into the quick hits first, John. We got a few quick hits to get into before we get into all this.
Well, they're all comic quick hits,
Yeah.
so that's fun. So apparently, the whole part of the whole DCKO event, it's just teased with just 4 words, and that is crisis of absolute proportion. So, guys, to the shock of no one, we're getting another crisis in the comics. Of course. Dan, are you shocked by this, that we're getting yet another crisis after the 16th one over the past 30 years? We're getting another fucking crisis. The final crisis is like final chapter. Yeah, sure, okay.
No, this just feels like the natural evolution of DCKO. So, yeah. You were born in the
dark.
Molded by
I did not become a DCKO until I was a man. Anyway, but yeah. So of course this is the big thing. While DCKO number 5 does see Superman ultimately emerge victorious in his battle against Darkseid, because of course it does, that doesn't mean that the fight for the future of the multiverse is over. In fact, it is only just beginning, as evidenced by Darkseid's promise of a crisis of absolute proportions to come. So yeah, we're getting it, guys. We're getting it.
Yeah. If you're following the DCKO storyline, then I'm sure this will be the conclusion you're looking for. I haven't been really reading it, so I can't speak to it myself. But absolute crisis. been there, done that before, except not with the Absolute Universe. So
we'll see.
We'll see what it turns into. Yeah.
But next up, Detective Chimp and Jane Goodall sharing a cup of tea. We are celebrating Jane Goodall's lasting impact with, this Women's History Month, and Laura Braga Art for the beautiful artwork of Jane Goodall and Detective Chimp. Very cute, very nice, very lovely.
I mean, my first media gig years ago was working for somebody who was a photographer for Jane Goodall. And he still is a photographer, but like he used to work for Jane Goodall, especially when she would be at the United Nations and stuff. And I mean, just her story and the work she did, and then of course passing away not too long ago, it's just the legacy she left behind. She's as much of a idol to look up to as any woman who's made a meaningful contribution to the world that we live in today. So yeah, I mean, DC made doing this for Women's History Month. I think this is a fantastic tie-in, something that kind of ties both into the comics but also into the real world. So absolutely love it.
Very nice. Then next up, finally, is one more trip around that frag and fireball. We call this on the 10-year wait for the main man's return is almost over. Our Scotty Shop exclusive is the only place you can get the only Scotty cover available. So, just a celebration of Lobo, before his first live action appearance ever in Supergirl later this year. So that's very exciting. So, yeah. Lobo, it definitely has a Calvin and Hobbes kind of feel to it, with that cover.
This is probably one of my favorite covers I've seen so far this year. This looks a lot of fun. Yeah, looks like a lot of fun. I want to see if I can actually find this. What's this? What is this? Scottle? Yeah, Scottle. Yeah, I'm gonna be
looking. Scotty or Scottle? No, it's Scotty. Okay, my bad.
Scotty. Never mind. Scotty with 2 T's, or Skottie. Scotty. Got it. Yeah, I mean, Lobo is also returning to the comics for the first time in a while, so this will be like a variant cover of Lobo #1. I think at this point, James Gunn has probably already got his mind made up about a Lobo solo movie, and we're only just waiting till Supergirl comes out for them to be like, all right, now we have got officially like some reason to like give this the green light. So getting back in the comics, this is all just building up towards Lobo having a very significant presence in the DCU. So I am not be more excited about that. So yeah. Yeah, Bill Watterson would be proud. Thank you, King. Yeah, those are the quick hits. Let's move into the next part of the show. What did Snyder say? Our Lord Savior himself. Well, it is the 5-year anniversary of Zack Snyder's Justice League, as you were talking about. This right here is a nice carousel of images taking you back. The song Hallelujah got stuck in my head again today because, of course, it's what they used for the trailer for the Snyder Cut back in 2021, and that's we will get into later what Zack Snyder posted today. Hint, it was the trailer. To me, there was some the added elements of the nightmare sequence and stuff felt unnecessary, and I still have mixed feelings about those elements, especially because like considering like, I mean, Jared Leto has been box office poison for a while. Ezra Miller is obviously, his career went downhill a long time ago. And then you look at the other actors. I mean, Ben Affleck's doing really well for himself. Gal Gadot, she's still doing roles, but certainly I think hopefully her peak of her career is not behind her, but she's not involved in a ton of high profile stuff these days. Henry Cavill, on the other hand, is probably the most prolific actor working today from that Justice League outside of maybe Jason Momoa. So yeah, I mean, it's a nice throwback. It is weird to think that 5 years have gone by, but I always had an appreciation for those Snyder movies. I don't think they're perfect. I don't think Zack Snyder's Justice League was by any means like the best thing since sliced bread or anything like that. Like 4 hours was way too long. And I'll talk about like maybe what should have been the runtime as we go on here. But let's keep moving forward because DC Film News kind of posted some behind the scenes photos as well as a compilation of the stuff that Zack Snyder himself has been posting leading up to today. I will say, for a Justice League movie featuring characters whose worlds feel so different than like the average Marvel Avengers team, because in the world of Marvel, half their heroes live in New York City, you know? But the worlds of DC feel like worlds built like onto themselves, right? And that's what I loved about the Snyder Cut the most. He was able to give these distinctive backstories to the characters of Batman. And I know that Victor Stone Cyborg kind of comes from Gotham as well in that world, but then you see the Amazonians and you really get to see the different textures of those worlds. Aquaman, and then of course you have Superman and Krypton, and that heritage. It's just, I really appreciated that. Like that's something that I hope we get to see more of with the Justice League, that I'm sure James Gunn is building toward. Just the diversity of it. And you know what? Zack Snyder's cinematography always works wonders. So his storytelling, may not be the best, but his cinematography always seems to be on point. His color grading, is up and down, but I think the fact that he looks back on this stuff fondly now, you can tell that that was some of his best work in a career that's had quite a few ups and downs. But speaking of Zack Snyder, let's talk about what he actually posted, because everybody was wondering, what is all this leading up to? Is it going to actually get us anywhere? Are we going to get like an IMAX release for the movie? That was a big point of speculation.
I'm not going to have it play because, let's not get demonetized.
Right. It's fair. But like, here's the thing. Unfortunately, it seems like the closest thing we got to a clue as to what might be coming or might not be coming at all was Zack Snyder posting the trailer for the movie again, which you can see on HBO Max still. You can, unless you have it on Blu-ray and you have it on physical media, but it doesn't seem like all the build-up that he was building up to anything specific. It's certainly not anything that he talked about today. The only thing that I noticed, which might be a clue, which even that is circumstantial at best, with this trailer post, obviously he said 5 years of Zack Snyder's Justice League to the fans, associate producers in every sense, who refused to accept it doesn't exist and stood together with passion and will. This film lives because of you. And then he thanked his 700,000 plus followers on Instagram and stuff. The only thing in this that kind of gave me an idea of like maybe there's more to it than what meets the eye is the very first thing he's put in his post was 214, the number 214, which if you go back and look at the reels, remember he posted a photo of like the reels of the movie that he shot while they were redoing it with Joss Whedon for the theatrical cut. He had like those reels, they were mostly in black and white. And that was the stuff that he shot and that it just sat in his garage for a while, for years. On those reels, it said the runtime was 214 minutes, which if you do the math, that works out to 3 hours and 34 minutes, which is definitely less than I think the final runtime of the Zack Snyder's Justice League, which the Snyder Cut ultimately ended up being like 4 hours basically. So maybe the runtime hint 214 means or hints at something along the lines of maybe there's another version of this movie he might want to release. I don't know, whatever. But whether it is or it isn't, at the very least, we have the Snyder Cut or the Zack Snyder Justice League. If you were a fan of it, you get to watch it. At the very least, to me, it's a huge improvement on the theatrical version. So that's how I look back at it. And as far as fandom goes, I know that there's a toxic element of it, but the fact that a fan campaign, and at least in part, led to something like this was the most influenced fans have had on anything since Star Trek was canceled and then brought back by NBC in the 60s because fans wrote so many letters and then picketed outside of the NBC studios and to get that to happen. So in that way, I think it's a positive. But then again, I mean, yeah, I think Zack Snyder did have a very good sense of Batman, MTG, but I don't know if you're ever going to get to see that realized beyond what we already got. So he did get like $70 million to work on the Snyder Cut. He did. A lot of it was spent on VFX shots that had to either redo or completely do from scratch. Like Steppenwolf was looking very different in his version of the movie, and all that had to be redone. Or the new character had to be inserted in those sequences from the movie, the theatrical version. There were a lot of sequences that were just created for the Snyder Cut because Joss Whedon decided to not use any of it. So yeah, $70 million, a lot of it went towards the CGI. Then of course Zack Snyder shot some stuff on his driveway, and so we got the Green Lantern shot, which has more green than the lanterns we're seeing right now. So anyway, Hallelujah has been stuck in my head all day, but I look back at this movie fondly because it's time gone by. I don't have any expectation for what may or may not come next in this world or that particular set of stories. I love where we're going with the DCU, and I'm okay with that. But before we finish up, what did Snyder say, John? I just wanted to kind of like showcase again, for all the things that we talk about of how Zack Snyder has been maybe a toxic influence on fandom. His human side comes out every once in a while. DC Film News, the editor of DC Film News, around the time that Zack Snyder's Justice League was coming out, it turns out Zack Snyder recorded a little video to kind of do a gender reveal for the editor of DC Film News and his what would be his daughter. He revealed that to him and his wife, which was, I think, a pretty cool little callback to, again, there's moments where I guess Zack Snyder, you could appreciate the human aspect of things, and whether you love it or hate him, let's just be mindful of the fact that even
that's essentially human. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And with that, we move on. So yeah, happy 5-year anniversary to Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Hallelujah.
But next up, we got Supergirl talk, and apparently there are some Elseworlds comics. Supergirl Survive and Superman Father of Tomorrow. So this is interesting.
That is interesting.
So in Supergirl Survive, teenage Kara Zor-El and infant Kal-El are launched into a hostile universe as Krypton burns around them. And meanwhile, Superman Father of Tomorrow imagines a world where Jor-El, not his newborn son, crash lands in Kansas and becomes Earth's greatest protector. Essentially like Earth 2 Batman. And there was also another Elseworlds comic where it was the Family of Tomorrow, where Jor-El built a big enough ship where all three of them went to Earth. So there was that too. And then finally in Dark Knights of Steel 2, the fan favorite fantasy epic returns to forge a new legend. So yeah, definitely very cool. Cool ideas.
I like this. Again, just different. Again, we were talking about how we were talking about the movies, but also in the comics, like, you need new ideas, you need that creativity, and to continue the evolution of these stories over time to keep them interesting. And I like that DC's taking some creative swings here.
Is it me, or does that look like Vincent Price right there?
It does. You're right. Yep.
Okay.
You're right. The artwork looks nice. Very interesting. I don't know if these stories would be adapted to this big screen anytime soon, but actually I like that silver and black costume too quite a bit. And it's some of these designs have a very Man of Steel influence to them. This sci-fi approach to like the Kryptonian society. But yeah, wow. This is really impressive. I don't think I got a chance to look at this before the show. This is cool. I'm into it. I would love to see if I can pick up a copy of one of these when it does come out. But I mean, this is what Elseworld stories are all about. I hope that some of these kind of really, far out ideas in these Elseworld stories can be brought to life more and more in the future of the DC Studios brand, because so far, while we know that the Batman is an Elseworld story, we really don't have a ton else going on in that, part of DC Studios slate. So yeah, I hope something like this can be adapted down the road.
Ew, Frank Miller. But yeah, they're very cool.
Yeah.
But not the only comic news in regards to Supergirl, but we have Summer of Supergirl special number 1, a movie variant cover by Mahmoud Asrar, and very, very nice. Obviously looking like the character from the film that's coming out soon. So this looks awesome. Very awesome.
It does. And the logo looks great. I mean, there's the same ship. It looks like it's very much going to be, well, I don't know how much of a tie-in is going to be with the movie, but yeah, Summer of Supergirl. Like, you got to start with the variant covers. I'm sure we'll be getting more and more of this marketing. So I'm starting to see how this might all get put together. We're right about at the beginning of the summer months, and Summer Supergirl, here we come. Let's do it. This looks nice. Yep.
Yeah.
Do those boots remind you of Frank Miller?
of Summer of Supergirl, it's coming out in 100 days. Look 100 out.
Days.
In 100 days. Well, now it's 99 days
99
because
days,
it's a day
past
later
midnight.
for us. But that's okay. 100 days still. 100 days.
Let the countdown begin, everybody. Who's somebody in the chat? I think Steven always asks, how many days before Supergirl comes out? Well, 100, or depending on if you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, 99 days to go. So now we're getting to the point where we're just about 3 months away from the movie. So, oh, hell yeah. I can't wait for this. Because no matter how good or bad it might be, it is the next DC movie on the horizon, and I'm going to be there opening weekend, and I just hope that it's going to, just kill it and just, hit one out of the park. And because I want to see this succeed so that we can get a Lobo movie. I want to see more of Kara Zor-El in the DCU. I want to see more of the Kryptonian lore. I want to see how it ties into the events of Superman and Man of Tomorrow. Like maybe we'll get a Brainiac hint in this movie somehow. So yeah, only 100 days away, and yeah, you know what? We're probably gonna get another Supergirl trailer probably around CinemaCon time in April. So yeah. I mean, I bet Supergirl is a fun hang at the bar. I think that's part of her.
Or like she just gets really drunk and then starts crying about how fucking
that's
she's
also
alone
possible.
and hates everything.
I'm sure that's also possible. But you know what? The good comes with
Speaking
the bad,
of assholes who get drunk and cry about being lonely and shit, Batman. Well, our Pats has apparently confirmed that the Batman will be in production in a couple months. So that sounds about right. I think May was the original date, right? Wasn't it?
It was. Well, originally they said, they might start doing some second unit stuff in March, so like right now, which they might have. We haven't really seen any photos, so like I guess we'll see.
Well, our Pats wouldn't be a part of that because it's second.
He wouldn't be.
So.
But yeah, I think April or May, like initially we thought it was April, but then May was the last time we heard about it. So yeah, it makes sense. Like, May would be 2 months from now. And like you said, the Batman Part 2, we're just about there. They're going to start filming. I'm sure a lot of it will be behind closed sets, but then sometimes we'll probably get some behind the scenes set photos and stuff, and then we'll dive all the way in and find you guys all the Easter eggs that we can. So it's going to be a fun summer. We're going to be following the Batman Part 2 in production. We're going to be watching Supergirl, Spider-Man Brand New Day. We're probably going to be seeing the trailer for Clayface, more Lantern stuff, Doomsday stuff, especially when Spider-Man is out. And then, of course, Man of Tomorrow filming, going back to Ohio. So I'm sure we'll be on Bulge Watch this summer once again. So, yeah, those Superman Batman picks are going to feed millions. And amongst the millions are us. So be sure to watch along if you guys haven't already subscribed. We'll be here 5 days a week talking all about them. So, yeah. Yep. Oh, I think we will.
That's not the only Batman Part 2 news we have, is that he reveals that the sequel will take some big swings. Well, we'll see if that's actually the case here. But he said the script is extraordinary. I think it's going to be a really, really special movie and very, very different. Again, we'll see. It's going to be interesting seeing it come out. It's taking some big swings. Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I'll believe it when I see it, because it's like, obviously he's going to be pumping the movie up, because he's not going to be like, yeah, this movie fucking blows, guys. Don't fucking watch it. Like, I say that all the time. It's like, of course they're gonna pump the movie up.
But yeah, I mean, but like, I understand also the idea that they're taking some creative swings, and he's not the only one to say that. I think like Matt Reeves and Matt Tomlin, the co-writers of the movie, have also hinted at that they're going in a new direction. They're doing something different. But they did a lot of that in the first movie too. And if the second one is gonna be anything like the first, then I'm all for it, because I go into these movies with an open mind, just impress me or, depress me. Like we'll see which way things go. But yeah, 2026, 2027, the hits will keep on coming, hopefully. Man of Tomorrow is not that far behind. We are excited for Clayface, but also kind of cautiously optimistic because we haven't seen anything from it so far. So yeah, we'll see. Is it the best thing since The Dark Knight? Well, the Batman definitely was the best Batman thing since The Dark Knight. That's what I would say. But I mean, John, in your mind, when he says big swings, what does that mean to you?
They're gonna bring in, actually the main villain is gonna be the Penny Plunderer, and that's like, they're just gonna go off on a whole
really, that's a big swing? Like, you think that's a big swing?
Yeah, considering, he was a one and done villain, even though he attempted to be a bigger villain. That's where the penny came from, in the Batcave, and then they had to retcon it because nobody fucking remembers the Penny Plunderer. So they had to change it to Two-Face. That's why he had the giant coin.
Impress me or depress me. Yeah, that does sound like a Taylor Swift song. Thank you for that. Look, here's the thing. I don't know if The Dark Knight Returns is an inspiration for this movie, but definitely the rumor right now is with Harvey Dent and everything, they're gonna pull some influences from the Long Halloween story, which wouldn't be the first time they do that. I mean, Christopher Nolan clearly did a lot of that for The Dark Knight, in 2008, but he only pulled some small elements and kind of sprayed them into like other stories. But that's how Nolan went about doing things. I think that's similar to what Reeves has done, but obviously the end product is very different. So, yeah, I guess we'll see. I mean, we know the Penguin's going to be in it. We know Sofia Falcone is not going to be in it. No Catwoman, but Scarlett Johansson and who was the other big? Bucky. Why am I forgetting his name? Sebastian Stan. So, in addition to all the usual suspect actors from the first movie, so I mean, yeah, that's going to be interesting. A lot of Marvel actors in this. Not only that, but Andy Serkis, also playing Alfred, of course, continuing to Jeffrey Wright, who wasn't really a Marvel guy per se. Yeah, but anyway. Point made. I'm excited for this, and we'll see. I mean, we'll be covering it as
Dark fucking Long Halloween from every other fucking adaptation. It's like, let's do Long Halloween again, even though we just fucking did Long Halloween for the last movie. Go figure. Anyway,
yeah. I would have liked to see Sofia Falcone or Sofia Gigante and Catwoman, but I don't know. I guess they're not there. I mean, the Penguin will be in there, so we'll see. We'll see what it turns into. All right. Well, it's good to know the script is spectacular or amazing or whatever other word he used,
or any other Spider-Man affiliated adjectives.
Adjective that he would like to use to talk about him. Yeah, hey, let's talk about what did Gunn say?
What did James Gunn say? Well, he was saying that he definitely this might be AI because he definitely wasn't here. But kidding aside,
this is like if 20 years ago it was James Gunn, except he went gray 20 years ago. Maybe like it's
another amazing convention in the books. Sunrise Comic-Con was a blast. It always fun to cosplay one of my favorite filmmakers. I know it's not 300%
so good.
Hashtag James Gunn. And this is Austin P. Putnam, and James Gunn retweeted or rethreaded whatever the fuck. Must be AI because I wasn't there. So very amusing.
Yeah, I like the sense of sarcasm James Gunn has. It works well. Also, kudos to to what's his name, Austin Putnam, for putting on an amazing costume, because that cosplay looks pretty damn good. If you squint, you might just think that he's like a young James Gunn, except James Gunn didn't really have gray hair back in those times. I'm always jealous. It almost kind of looks like Sean Gunn in some ways.
Honestly, you know what looks really fucking good? Those goddamn empanadas. Like I don't give a fuck about the dude. I want now I'm in the mood for empanadas.
Why did you say that? Now I want empanadas too. Holy shit, that does look good.
And that taco truck is looking quite good. Honestly, now I'm getting hungry. Even though I shouldn't be eating.
We need Wonka Vision. But... we need to Wonka Vision the shit out of this photo so we can just get it like passed to us through the screen. That'd be great. He's skinny in this. Oh, come on, man. Like, yeah, well, that's what I mean by like a younger James Gunn, except he had black hair at the time. So, but yeah, Gunn is thicker. Fair. But what else did Gunn say?
Damn, all right, guys. Fuck. Like, poor James Gunn.
Like, we don't judge people's bodies, all right? Like, that's not what we're here. But yes, it is a nice
pump up the homies in this house.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Unless they're Tom King, because fuck Tom King. But speaking of skinny, James Gunn shared another picture of Mr. Handsome. Great at both Donkey Kong and platform driving, anything with controls, really. So now we know that Mr. Handsome is great at Donkey Kong. And then, of course, all the comments are being assholes because, of course, the Snyder Cut news came out today, and the entire thing is filled with like douchebags being assholes. So,
this wasn't there when I looked at it earlier, but of course it is now. That's just like, again, the toxic part of the fan base. Like, why do you got to ruin it for the rest of us? I just love that James Gunn has been sharing his favorite moments from what I think was an amazing experience for him, and also years in the making.
Absolutely,
he wanted to make a Superman movie for so long, and he finally got to do it. And again, you could tell that, like, he talked about it. He's mentioned it many a times, and Zack Snyder did too. They share a lot of similar ideas and what they think about Superman, but clearly at the end of the day, their two iterations are very different, and they're very much, an embodiment of the filmmaker. Like, the Zack Snyder's Man of Steel very much felt like a Zack Snyder movie. James Gunn's Superman very much felt like a James Gunn movie, and I love that about how they're able to kind of bring that style and imbue that the movies that they make with it. So at the end of the day, they're both Superman movies, but the two of them are very different. Some of them even they actually share some themes, obviously a lot of the same characters and stuff, but two very different movies. One of them also, Man of Steel, had just some Easter eggs that were like inserted in there because they wanted to start a new universe. But with James Gunn, he's obviously going in with the intent of building a new universe, so he went about things very differently, and that's how we got the Justice Gang. So, but and also Mr. Handsome, he didn't die, right? Like, so Mr. Handsome technically might be, I don't even know if they consider him a human. So like, I don't know, like, what's the deal about you do put him in prison, or is he like I don't know how any of that works, because Lex Luthor is in prison. But unless I'm misremembering, and Mr. Handsome did die in that pocket dimension. But I'd be interested in seeing if he comes back, because clearly, I mean, Lex Luthor cares about the guy. He's got a photo of him on his desk. So yeah. Anyway, I don't know, John. Anything else you want to add to that, Mr. Handsome?
No, not really.
He's so handsome. He has all the riz. Yeah, thank you, Jalen. Yep, he's probably hanging out with the Creature Commandos. Actually, that's true. I don't know if he shares a belief set, though, you know. Is he going to mow down some Nazis? Well, I guess we'll find out. Season 2 of Creature Commandos, which I think comes out next year, right? Like, that's the idea, that it would be 2027 at the earliest. They don't really have a release date for it, but I can't imagine they'll be releasing it this year. Anywho, that's it. That's all we got. DCU Daily. It was a long show. We were just about at the 3-hour mark. Actually, we might be done a little bit earlier than we were yesterday. It felt like a longer show at times, but who knows? Maybe to you it did not. And if it didn't, then that's, I think, a good thing. But hey, it was the fifth anniversary of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was the day that Sony dropped the best superhero trailer of the year after the worst superhero marketing stunt of the year, with Spider-Man Brand New Day. And then, of course, we talked about a bunch of other Hollywood news. So if you tuned in late, be kind and rewind. If you are here watching now or after we're live, please do hit the like button. And then, of course, hit subscribe. We're getting close to 100,000. That's a big, big deal. So we do appreciate it.
We
and
might
course,
get a silver play button in the mail soon.
I'll have to find a place to put it. So we'll figure it out. Maybe I'll give it to John so he can hang it up, you know, when one of his
I can't hang it up anywhere. I have too many posters.
Dang. All right. It's too bad. You can't put up a YouTube thing sign. Come on, man. You gotta find room for that if you had one of those. So, but hey, yes, please do subscribe, MTG. Come on. I guess I'll subscribe. I know you're probably already subscribed, but anyway. Yeah, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live, because tomorrow, Thursday, basically later today, we'll be live again with DCU Daily. Then we're back on Friday with DCU Daily, and then Fancast Friday right after that. And in that double header, it looks like the poll, which is currently on the community post section, currently Dune for director is winning, and Oscar's 2027 host is coming in at a close second. So nobody wants Timothée Chalamet in the DCU, and I guess nobody cares enough about MCU Harry Osborn. But
even though like the Spider-Man trailer just came out, but we'll see.
Maybe that will change. Maybe that will change. But hit the like button on the way out, and we'll see you next time on another episode of DCU Daily. We out.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see.
Right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts. Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto.
Hunka hunka!
Fuck Tom King, fuck David Ellison, and fuck Jeff Snyder. Boom, boom, boom. The trifecta of awful. Hell yeah.